Hey, everybody on YouTube, what's going on tonight as we kick off another show tonight? We're dealing with a little bit of audio issues right now as I'm trying to figure out why we're getting some feedback with Butch Witkowski. I'm going to try something here, see if that works. So I'm going to delay the little bit of hello, how are yous for right now. But thank you to Nicola, and thank you to Sylvia and James for the amazing super chats and kicking things off tonight. We really do appreciate the love and the support that you guys are giving SOR. Butch, do you want to talk to me here for a quick second, my friend? You got your microphone muted. All right. Testing 1, 2. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why we're getting background noise there. Hold on. All right. Let's see how that goes. Hey, Butch, I'm going to get you, I know you got your headphones up, but I'm going to get you to turn your speaker down if you don't mind. Because I think it's still bleeding through your speaker on the outside.
How's that?
Can you hear me now?
Barely.
All right. Shoot. What would have changed? Because I haven't touched anything all weekend. Screw it. We're going to go with it. Anthony, thank you so much for the super chat. All right, we'll figure it out here, bud. $25 seconds.
Should I disconnect the headphones?
No. Okay, I got it figured out. All right, Butch, get comfortable here. From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on TalkStream Live, Revolution Radio, and KPNL. All of our archives are free by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. You can follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. All right, let's do this thing. He comes in once a month, and near the end of each month, he breaks down the month that was in the weird and strange. As we got Butch Witkowski here from UFOcop.com in a segment we like to call Strange Days. Now, Butch, he can be happy, he can be healthy, he can be jovial, but we love him when he is cranky. And, of course, Butch is scowling to get his opinion out on what came down this past weekend with the UFO files and the DNI preliminary assessment of unidentified aerial phenomena. Once again, his website is UFOcop.com if you want to check him on out. Butch Witkowski, it's always a pleasure to have you here. How are you?
I'm fine, sir. Pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to be here with you as well. And my friend, you know, we always have new listeners coming on in. So I'm just curious if you have your thoughts on, you know, what you're all about. Tell people who have maybe never heard from you.
I've been studying and researching and investigating ufology, UFOs, and cryptids. Well, UFOs for over 30 years. Cryptids for about the last 6 or 7. Just a passion that just won't quit. And all this stuff that's going on right now with the DNI, it's amazing, just amazing. I've been nailed to the wall for the last 3 weeks with interviews on television and newspapers and coast to coast, and you know, it just all because of this worthless piece of paper that means absolutely nothing, and I mean nothing. But I said that a long time already. I mean, when people said that this was going to come out and we were going to get all this information from the government, I thought to myself, you got more chance of seeing Jesus. But you're not going to get any information from the government. And they only looked at they talk about 144 reports. Pennsylvania since 1947 has had 3,500 reports. Just Pennsylvania. Can you imagine California, Texas, and the other states, and even up in your area? I mean, this is crazy. It was a waste of time, and you get a lot of people that I've just been looking at some stuff tonight on the internet that they think this is great. This is groundbreaking. This solves the problem. Everybody knows what's going on, and now we actually know what they are. Balloons. So next thing it'll be the dummies out pushing out airplanes, and it's just crazy. I mean, they're never going to give out the information. They give out 9 pages. The original report was 78 pages. That's it. That's what they gave you. 9 pages of nonsense.
That is probably the biggest thing that we are struggling with as people I've talked to as well. I mean, let's face it, we can be happy that things finally came out. There is some sort of acknowledgement to the DNI preliminary assessment. I don't like how they called it a preliminary assessment. Why not come out with a report, Butch?
Well, then they'd have to say that they've known everything from the very beginning since 1947. They're not going to do that. I mean, as far as they're concerned, Roswell never happened. And everything in between Roswell and now never happened. All this stuff that people have been seeing in the skies are that's fantasy. That's what that is. It has nothing to do with the stuff that's going on. I mean, just, what was it, 3 weeks ago now, the Russian Navy puts out a report worldwide, and I only saw a little bit of it in the United States, but it was a worldwide report put out. The French government really put it out on the internet, where one of their nuclear hunter-killer subs, which are the faster model of their subs, tracked an undersea unknown at 300 knots. That submarine only does 40 knots. So what went by at 300 knots? Nothing on that planet that we know of. I mean, I guess after all these years of hearing about all the information they're going to cut loose and this, that, and the other thing, I and many others are just frustrated because we all knew this was nonsense. They were not going to tell anybody anything. It was a bad joke. Some people are thrilled. They think they got a lot of information. There's nothing in here. Zero. I got this today from Australia. Never saw it before. Oop, where am I at here? Top secret. Right? It's not been cleared. And this came out of Australia. And first thing out of this opinion is the phenomenon reported is something real and not visionary or fictitious. There are objects probably approximately the shape of a disc of such appreciable size as to appear to be as large as a man-made aircraft. So the truth is out there somewhere. It's just getting it out there to the public. This morning, one researcher from England said, okay, I got the answer. He's done. He packed it up. He's no longer researching UFOs. So I guess, you know, some people can be pretty gullible. But as far as this goes, I mean, nothing. I mean, before even the day it was put out, memorandum from senior Pentagon leadership is directing activity of the DoD. So I don't know. I just think it was, and I tried to warn people, don't get too excited about this because you're not going to get anything, and they didn't. All this stuff that they put in there is well known, but they had to say something because the gun cameras don't lie. They can't swap them out. They can't cheat them. You know, it's just like if you put a thermal imaging device on your back porch, you'd see a lot of stuff that you didn't see normally. And these gun cameras and the Mexican military films, the French military films, the Belgian military films, they don't mention anything. 144 reports. That's what they talk about. And they don't even mention the reports. They just say 144 reports were looked at and studied. By who? Who studied them? They don't tell you that. They just go on and on with their stuff like, oh, well, we got it under control. We're handling it. We'll take care of it. We got our people. This the group, well, I forget what they call it now. It's all digital nuts. It's under Defense, Secretary of Defense Kathleen Hicks, Deputy Secretary of Defense. The group that was studying UFOs, and then they packed them in. They cut it out. Alessandro was part of that deal. They stopped that. Well, that began again today. It's now in force, and it's running away, and they're going to continue where they left off. Well, that's not going to be much because they didn't do anything when they left off the first time. What are they going to do the second time? And out of that 78 pages, why didn't they give us the whole 78 pages? Why only 9? 9 pages and nothing. So where's the, you know, the 78 pages that they actually came out with? And, well, they said, well, there's classified information in there. So then they're saying that this stuff is no longer classified information. So this 144 reports are not classified anymore. Why don't we get to see them?
And Butch, I understand that, and I can appreciate where you're coming from regarding this phenomena and everything that is happening around it. You know, but for the most part, the mainstream media is really up on this. The fact that we got something. We got something in order to make it happen. We got something in order to try and get the ball rolling. And in my opinion, and I'm just as frustrated as you are with this, Butch, but in my opinion, it is a small victory, as small as it may be. It's not what we want for the UFO field, but it is something categorically to get the mainstream public to open up their eyes a little bit that this is a real phenomena. I mean, one only has to look at our good scientific friend Neil deGrasse Tyson, who has spent the last 3.5 days absolutely berating and trying to embarrass people who believe in UFOs and that this phenomena is real. And this is supposed to be America's top scientist who is conducting a lot of opinion. And the last time I heard, science wasn't about conducting opinion. It was about conducting whether or not something is real. All right. And we're seeing a lot of that right now, Butch.
Yeah. And you're going to continue to see it. You have a small group, but it's kind of a vicious group of naysayers out there that have been there for a very, very long time. And every time there's a piece of information that comes out that is worthy to hand over to the public, they're the first ones to jump up on the fence and start yelling fake, phony, doesn't happen, doesn't exist, this, that, and the other thing. But it's one of those deals, Dave, where, you know, they've had this discernment stuff before. You know, the big thing they had in Washington D.C. back in 2017, where they had the who's who of ufology sitting there, astronauts and you know, everybody from Stanton Friedman down to whoever, and they all testified before former congressmen and senators. And that was a big thing, because after that was done, they said, "Oh, now we're going to get information out to the public. We're going to tell them what's going on. We're going to tell them what we're investigating, how we're doing it, who's doing it, when it's being done, how it's being done, on and on and on." What happened? Zero. Nothing. So, you know, it's just, it's like a dog and pony show. Every time something comes out that they really can't cover up, like the gun cameras, they can't cover those up. So the gun cameras come out, people start asking questions. They want information, they want the truth, and the government can only go, "Well, we're working on it." But they come out with something. So their 9 pages of absolute nonsense, their assessment, their preliminary assessment. When I got it the other morning, I just looked at it and just shook my head, and my wife said, "Anything interesting?" I went like, "Absolutely nothing. Not a thing." And now, you know, they want to go back to that UAP task force that they had, and they're going to be back in business officially as of the 25th. Nobody can find any information on them. That website, that little website they had, that's gone. Alessandro is going bananas. He's all over the internet screaming and yelling. And it's just the same old thing. Like, you know, there were hundreds of reports that they had. Hundreds, not that 144. There were hundreds. But there's no explanation of what happened to them, or why we're not discussing those. I mean, it almost puts it out like one guy said to me this morning on the phone. He says, "It's almost like there's only ever been 144 reports to the government." Well, that's absolute nonsense. I mean, all you got to do is read Project Blue Book. I mean, they got 1,350. They can't even tell you what they were. It's just something they could never figure out, and they never will figure out. So, once again, ufology's kind of where we were. I mean, nothing changed. I agree with you that, you know, it did perk up the interest in a lot of people. But are those people new to this unexplained phenomena? I'm sure they're not any seasoned researchers that are saying that. Not from what I've been talking to the last couple of days. And, you know, then you had that statement by the Pentagon press secretary, John Kirby, which made absolutely no sense whatsoever. Like, he put it across, I can't remember how he worded it, but it was like, "This is the definitive answer to UFOs and the phenomenon of UFOs." That was it. That came out of the Pentagon. So where we stand on this, Dave, I have no idea. All I know is nobody I talk to is, you know, thinking that this is going to send us in any one direction. We're just going to keep doing what we do. Except for
Butch, I want to ask you in regards to it, okay, like what I've tried to do is I've tried to separate my own opinion as an experiencer and as someone involved in this field from the people who have not been a part of this field, because I think it's really difficult not to get convoluted and maybe even a little upset and pissed off about what we saw in the lack of a report. However, you know, when I look at the mainstream, I did an interview today in Vancouver with a major radio show. We talked 25 minutes about this subject. this station never covers anything to do with UFOs. You know, there are other radio stations and television stations around North America that are playing this report. And this is where we need to, you know, kind of give the kudos to the fact that at least the ball is rolling, as slow as it may be. At least the ball is rolling, because we knew they weren't going to come out with aliens. We knew they weren't going to come out with this technology is not of this planet, even though they've been hinting it very loudly, as loud as they can over the last couple of months. I mean, this is kind of where, I find myself kind of caught in a catch-22. I want to be really pissed off at this report, Butch, but I can't, because if I think about it in the way of the 90% majority that has no clue in telling a UFO from the Skylink or the Starlink satellite system that brings internet to the world, all right, I think it's okay. At least I'm trying really hard to find positives.
Well, and I understand that. I mean, any bit of information that comes out from the government, good, bad, or indifferent, I guess, is always looked at by a certain number of folks that this is the truth. This is what's happening. This is what took place, etc. The only problem I've always had with this coming out of UFOs and ufology in general is the fact that there's never anything new. I mean, this information in the assessment, this has been out now for, all this information here has been out now for what, 6-8 months? I mean, 6 or 8 months this stuff has been out. All they did was put it on a piece of paper and send it out. And then you got the unidentified aerial phenomenon task force being cranked up again. Well, when they were cranked up the first time and that was brought out, they denied it ever existed. I mean, Alessandro said, yeah, I was there, I did this. He put up all his proof, and they said he was lying. And they're still on his case. But I don't know. Everything that comes out like this is always with a grain of salt. I mean, now the case in New Mexico, I forget the trooper's name, but anyway, now they're starting to debunk that. They said that was all set up deal by some clowns, and they're picking at little things now to, I guess the word I'm looking for is sanitize. Like this is the way it is. It's good. This will work out in time, and it's just not going to happen. I mean, it's going to continue on. I live right outside of Reading, Pennsylvania, and I got a report and with video of a sighting day before yesterday, and it's good video. I got another one from Michigan video, and it's a good video, and that was 5 days ago. This stuff isn't being reported by the government. This is being reported by the people that see this stuff. And the only reason it gets out to the public is because researchers put it out there, or you'll put it out there, or I'll put it out there, and let the people decide. I mean, this paper stuff that gets put out is just, I guess it upsets me because I just feel as though they're placating the people that are asking questions. They're just blowing them off. Look, if we send them a couple pieces of paper, they're going to be happy. They won't bother us anymore. At least they won't bother us for a while. And guys like Witkowski and Dave Schrader and Dave Scott and everybody else can go do what they do, and everybody will be happy. And then if they get upset again or they start asking too many questions, we'll come out with another piece of paper. But it's always been that way. I mean, I put in FOIA requests that never got answered. John Greenwald has put in FOIA requests that never got answered. I got one returned because they said I spelled something wrong. And I looked at it 3 or 4 times, even pulled out a dictionary. I didn't spell anything wrong. So, they do what they do There's no way of stopping them. They're just gonna continue to placate anybody with a serious question, or I truly believe that if somebody rolled up in a pickup truck in front of the Pentagon, they had a saucer sitting on the back of the pickup truck with an alien hanging out the window, you'd never see anything. That'd be just nonsense. But yeah, I agree with Jeff Gear. The report is good when you run out of toilet paper, because that's pretty much what it is. I mean, if people get on the internet and look up the Washington, D.C. UFO conference that they had down in Washington, I mean, I think they got it broken down into 3 sections because it was a 2-day affair. But there is the who's who of ufology. There are astronauts, police officers, everybody you can think of that's ever been involved in this stuff, and they are just cranked. I mean, they're just spilling their guts with all the stuff they have, and it just goes on and on and on. And what came out of it? Zero, nothing. And you know.
Oh, I know all too well, Butch, is we are going to continue tonight with Butch Witkowski. He is cranky tonight, ladies and gentlemen. He wants to know whether or not he should burn the DNI report, because according to him, that's all it's good for. More UFO talk with Butch Witkowski on Spaced Out Radio right after this. All right, Butch, we got to try and fix this here.
Okay.
Now I'm not getting any feedback from you. Maybe we don't need to fix anything. I'm not hearing myself anymore.
No, there was I in the background before. I heard a little something that's not there anymore.
All right, turn the.
Okay.
Yeah. Request from Desert Clam. Butch, turn the crankometer to 11.
We might hit 12 or 13.
Holy shit, I can't wait. I cannot wait. While we're waiting here, I feel really, really guilty that I haven't had a chance to say hello to the audience. I know there's a bunch I've missed, but these are the people I could see. Bonjour, Julien. Comment ça va? RX Tunes, good to see you. Luscious Jules. Trucker Andrew. Richard Elmore. Duke from World Bigfoot Radio. If you're not signed up for that channel and subscribe to it, you definitely need to. Sphere Asunder, how are you? Edens, how are you? Space Cow, Grandmaster, the gorgeous and talented Kira. I know Emily Bigelow, Alaska's greatest athlete, is around here somewhere. Bat Mom, looking stunning and caped. She is our caped crusader tonight. The Bat Mom, the gorgeous Bat Mom. Typical Watch, good to see you. Mama Susan, thanks for coming on in. Media Fox, Titan, Life Dweller, Space Cow again. Snakes on a UFO Snakester, good to see you. Chad Smith, thanks for dropping on in. Solar Warden, thank you for joining us. Sylvia and James, Anthony and Nicola, good to have you here. Race Fan was in the gold medal position, by the way. Jennifer Hawkins, looking gorgeous tonight. I know Cosmic Fleur is here. I know Ange is here. I know Jack Clark is here. I'm just going off of memory. Jose, how are you, my friend? Good to see you. The lovely Lady Blah Blah is here. There she is. Desert Rat, good to see you. Let's see here. Scrolling on down. Laura Stevens looking lovely tonight. Ed Clater's here, everyone. The lovely and talented Jordan Ashley Pettit has returned. Yes, Big J is here. Susan Roxfold, good to see you. Kurt Seltzer with a splash of lime. There he is, everyone. The gorgeous Jean Beckett has returned. Where is her lovely twin? Preston, where are you? I need you, Preston. Where are you, man? Where are you? Mr. BoobTube, Nikki, and let's see here. Meat Toes on Twitter. Meaty Toes, that's a fucking great name right there. Meaty Toes. Excellent name. All right. Bombshell Bomber, the gorgeous Bobby Younce has returned. Project Blue Book, boom to you, Bama. Gorgeous Judy Wheeler, take a bow. The lovely and talented Shar has returned. Hey, Jim Nicholas, how are you? Stu Gerson, awesome. There you go, buddy. The gorgeous Carrie Ann, thank you for joining us. Travis DeLuca, Ross Smith, Oumuamua, nice to see you guys. The gorgeous Jennifer Rebecca has arrived. Hello, Horror Realm. How are you? Troy SR71, John Gonzalez, Gloria from Casual Conversation. You're looking lovely tonight. Paul Holland from Australia. Yeah, 2 countries are better than 1. And where am I here? I think I'm almost caught up. Yeah, I think I am. Oh, Simon says hello. Hello. And shut down. What's happening? Anthony Koths, welcome back. Sinister Vax, good to have you here, brother. And the gorgeous and talented Jessica Lee has returned. And I believe the stunning Jessica McCreary is here as well. Magnus Vermagnuson, how are you, my friend? Oh, I think, there's gorgeous Helena. Give us a wave. And the stunning Sherry has returned as well. And she's coughing here. Look at that. Cough, cough. There she is. Kabasa Nova. I love her. She's awesome. I got to meet her in San Francisco at UFO Con a couple years ago. Well, actually last year and a half ago. Lovely, lovely lady. Uh-huh. All right. And Butch, we got about 40 seconds. Big thank you to Nicholas, Sylvia, and James, and Anthony for the amazing super chats tonight, kicking off a brand new week. We really do appreciate the love and support here. And we're going to get going in 25 seconds. Gorgeous Marie has arrived. She is chopped liver, apparently. There she is. Chopped liver Marie has arrived. Ross Smith, good to see you. And 10 seconds, everybody. We got the audio fixed, so now we can get back to having some fun. Second half hour of Spaced Out Radio is underway. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. I really do appreciate earning your listening ears. Want to remind you that if you miss portions of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. We continue on with Butch Witkowski from UFOcop.com. Butch starts off and comes on in once a month for his feature we call Strange Days. We're talking UFOs tonight. Butch, welcome back.
Glad to be back, buddy.
Always a pleasure to have you here, my friend. Always a pleasure. Now, in the last half hour, we were talking about whether or not this was good. This was not a good report, Butch, for anybody involved in ufology. We're reading it totally differently. For the public and the mainstream media who has made fun of this topic for a long time, I think we look at it as something different. I want to stick on the positive here because it's easy to pick out the negative. Out of those 4 pages that we were actually able to get some information out of the 9, what caught you off guard? Did anything, or was there any type of positive that you saw in there?
No, I didn't. None. It was what I expected. I mean, I didn't expect anything that was going to be eye-opening. But, I mean, to some people, yeah, especially people that this ufology thing is all new to them. I mean, you know, they're not familiar with it. They never read anything about it, and probably all heard about Roswell, and then they bought the government's deal on that. But it's just like they have absolutely nothing in there that's new. Balloons, they tried that already. I don't know what else they'd put in there. It's going to be interesting because one researcher this morning we were talking, and he said with the new group that they're going to put back together for, I think, the third time, they're going to make that more accessible to the public. So you're going to be able to, according to him, he said, you're going to be able to read whatever they're working on at that time. Good luck. Ain't no way that's going to happen. Forget that. Don't even waste your time trying to hunt it down on the internet, because it ain't going to be there. They're not going to give you any information on anything. They never did. They never will. And that's the end of that. I mean, so next time this all blows up, we get a couple more gun camera things here and there. They'll put out another couple pieces of paper, placate everybody be happy, go away. And, you know, we guys out here doing it, we guys and girls out here doing this, we're just going to get more PO'd. That's just the way it's going to be. I mean,
they threw one of their own fighter pilots under the bus. Yeah. I mean, Ryan Graves stated that for 2 years they were seeing these and reporting these phenomena almost daily, every time they took to the air for training. Mm-hmm. Well, if you see them every day for 2 years, that's over 700 times. Mm-hmm. All right. And there's only 144 investigations. Yep. Mm-hmm. And one's a weather balloon. Of all things that they had to call it, I think that was a joke thrown in there. It had to be.
The only thing that could have made that worse if they would have said it was Project Mogul. You know, when they turn on their own, you know, they eat their young. But I'll take the word of a combat pilot over a politician or some yo-yo sitting behind a desk in Washington, D.C. anytime. Anytime. And like I said, you can't make those gun cameras lie. I mean, it's not like, you know, he turns on his gun camera, then he climbs out in the nose of his F-15 or 16, holds up a pen and says, okay, this is what I'm following. You know, here it is. Let's go after it. No, it just doesn't happen that way. And the United States is not the only one that has been investigating this. China has their own group to investigate. Russia has their own group to investigate. Even those morons over in Iran have their own group to investigate. So you have, it would be a waste of time if everybody just blew it off and said, yep, it is what it is. But there are people out there that want to know what it is. They want to make sure that it's not going to be threatening. I mean, you know, so if they were willing to call, well, they did before. I mean, they called astronauts liars, but or they cut off their mics in the middle of a description of something outside the window. The way it is, I mean, they're just, I don't know what they're afraid of. You know, like what do they think? People are going to like get pitchforks and torches and head toward the Pentagon? They just, when it comes to disclosure, it's not going to happen. The only way disclosure is going to happen is if they disclose themselves. And as far as these folks giving out all this great amount of information, well, 9 pages just don't cut it. I mean, like I said, Pennsylvania since 47 had 3,500 reports. That's a lot more than 9, and that's really low on the totem pole. You got California. California's in the thousands and thousands, 14, 15,000, I think. So it was just, when they say about disclosure, for years, people have been saying, well, there is disclosure. I mean, people see this stuff in the sky. People report things in the sky. Pilots report, private pilots, citizens, military, non-military. I mean, so you would have to say that all these thousands and thousands of people that have been putting this stuff forward are liars. That's impossible.
But Butch, doesn't that go along with the idea of the fact that they are not using any reports previous to 2004? They started it right at the Nimitz, and they don't seem to give two cares about any report that happened previous to that. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, there's 1,350 reports they didn't answer in Project Blue Book when they closed it down. They're open reports. 2 of them are here in Pennsylvania. There's a bunch of them in California that they had no idea. They couldn't lie about it. They couldn't say, oh, they were weather balloons, or we threw a dummy out of a window to see how fast he hit before he hit the ground. I mean, all that stuff was nonsense. But those are still in Project Blue Book. They never took them out. Now, I guess the smartest thing for them to do at that point was take them out and never publish them. But there's 1,350 reports that they have no idea what was there, what was seen. A couple of them are pilots, commercial pilots, combat troops on the ground in different countries, from different countries. So I don't know. I don't know what the big deal is with disclosure. Well, I don't know what they think is going to happen. I listened to a show the other night where a guy said, well, there's really no proof of anything, any entity driving these things around. It's probably just, mechanical. They're just watching over us, or, then you got the crew that's saying, well, we are them, they are us, and they're just checking up on us, making sure we're doing good and all this stuff. And I thought to myself, yeah, today it was 98 degrees. Gas went up 20 cents overnight. So, yeah, they're doing a real good job. So I think we should fire them and find somebody else, maybe from another planet or another solar system.
103 here today.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
103.
That's kind of weird for guys up in your area, ain't it?
Yep.
You guys are still wearing parkas usually in July.
Sometimes. You could never be too prepared for when it snows in the middle of summer. But you know what, Butch? I agree with you on what you're saying. Okay, I do. And I think that this report is showing a lot of ignorance. It really is showing a lot of ignorance in regards to, what the public knows. But they are really banking on a very, very immature media when it comes to this. They are banking on a very immature public who has made fun of this subject. Realistically, their narrative, they don't even have to have a narrative in order to hide the reports, because they've literally built a wall on 2004 and said, this is where we're starting. And nothing happened before that. We don't care about what happened before that. We don't care about the Phoenix Lights. We don't care about Roswell. Okay. And the media is too stupid to say, well, if you don't care about Roswell, why don't you talk to us about it?
Well, yeah, it's exactly right. And, you got to think of the folks that know nothing about UFOs. I mean, they may have heard it or they watched it on a TV movie or something like that, but they have no interest or never had any interest in UFOs or study of UFOs. And then the government puts this out there, and now they're going like, see, we got disclosure. There's the answer. Here's what's happening. The government's going to take care of it. And that's a whole nother group by itself. There was even some talk on the 25th, actually, where some researchers saying, well, where does ufology go now? What do we do now? What happens to all the ufologists? Well, we keep on doing what we're doing. Keep on doing what we've always done. Keep on reporting it. None of their reports ever comes to a UFO group. Like they don't go to MUFON, or they don't go to the Acadamie in France, or they don't go to the Acadamie in Belgium, or any of those places, or any individuals. I mean, I never got a call from the White House, so what are you going to do? So they put it out there to people that I'm not saying are gullible. It has nothing to do with it. It's just people that didn't follow that stuff, or their whole idea of a UFO is a good movie, and it's fantasy. And it's not fantasy. I mean, this stuff is up there. I mean, we see them all the time. It's not like we don't see them. It's we have nothing in our arsenal. Nobody in this planet has anything in their arsenal that has the flight characteristics of the stuff that's up there. Nobody. Ain't no way. There is no way you're going to track a vehicle of any type at 6, 8, 10,000 miles an hour, and then it's going to stop and make a left-hand turn. Whoever's in there is going to be a bowl of jelly laying on the floor. End of story. There is no way. So we get, the government with their side of the story. We get the researchers with their side of the story. We get the naysayers. We get the lifelong conference chasers, I call them, that have never seen a UFO. If people knew, and I'm not going to mention their names, but if people knew the number one uppity up, know all, see all guys in ufology, if they knew that these guys never saw a UFO in their life, yet they wrote books on how to investigate a UFO, they never saw one. And the only guy that ever came out publicly and said that was Stanton Friedman. He said, I've never seen a UFO. He said, I wouldn't know one if it ran into my car. So as long as those people are out there spewing their stuff, there's a certain amount of people that are going to believe everything they say. We don't. We never will, because we're the ones that see this stuff. We're the ones that document the stuff. And I'll tell you one thing that has changed just over the last month that I found very interesting. And I checked on a couple other guys too, and they said the same thing, where if you got a good video of something, that was rare. Now we're getting really good videos. I mean, people are out there with really good stuff, taking photographs, and they're not moving around. They got it set up on a tripod, and they're lined up, and they give you the weather and where they're at, the exact location, so you can check on your own. And some of the stuff is really good, Dave. I mean, it's really good. And so I hope that keeps going on. I mean, if this stupid papers lit a fire under some people that they really, really want to know, and they're really, really going to try to get some information, I'm all for it.
I understand that. Butch, we have about 8 minutes here to go before we got to go to break at the top of the hour. Butch Witkowski's Strange Days is with us tonight, talking UFOs all night long. The one thing that kind of caught me off guard in the report was the fact that this was really the first admittance that we had seen that the United States Air Force was participating in this study. Now, the U.S. Air Force has remained absolutely silent in their everyday war with their own United States Navy because they're extremely competitive divisions of the military. And up until then, they basically said, hey, Navy, you made this mess. You clean it up. We don't want anything about it. But now we read in the report that the U.S. Air Force actually has started its own AKA task force. And number two, was providing information from 2004 this way, as far as we know. Wasn't that a significant step in the report to know that the Air Force was actually involved?
Yeah, because the Navy would control all that information. Since the 1700s, the absolute number one authoritative agency as far as intelligence was the Navy, and still is. The Air Force, no. The Army, Air Force, no. Marines, Army, no. Everything was the Navy. Their intelligence services were, well, they're way above the CIA and the NSA. I mean, those guys, if you look at the guys that are running those operations, they're all Navy. Career Navy, always been, always will be. Why? I have no idea, but since they were the very first intelligence agency, they'll probably be the very last, because there's nobody over them. They just, they got their act together. And that's why when people get in trouble, the NCIS, they're the first ones on scene. They don't care who's involved. The Navy's there. They're investigative services. And And now with the Space Force, here's another thing. Who's going to run that deal? What's that deal going to be doing? I know the Air Force is heavily involved in that, but I guess we'll see. It's a little early for them yet, but I don't know. It's just this conglomerate that's going to be very confusing for a while. But we'll see how it works out in the wash.
It really is a sign of everybody kind of, throwing paste at a wall and hoping something sticks.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I mean, for those of us who are in the field, we can kind of, poke holes through this all. So if you're poking holes through the wall, Butch, whether it's the Air Force, whether it's the Navy, we haven't heard from the Army, we haven't heard from the Marine Corps, but out of those two branches, what holes do you poke in it when you look at it?
Well, you can't poke any holes in the Marine Corps because they're a branch of the Navy. So, those jets flying off of carriers, most of those are Marine jets. So they're kind of out of the picture because they are part of the Navy. Air Force, it surprised me a little bit that they've been contributing to all this because they basically kept their hands off it. But I think the gun cameras and pilots that are no longer in the military are coming forward with information that they just didn't put out before. But it didn't surprise me either that the government would turn on their own pilots. That was to be expected. But I think when they did that, that was a big mistake because now they're going to have other pilots that are going to come forward and step up and say, wait a minute, he wasn't lying. I was his wingman, or I was the guy that pulled the tape out of that jet that day, and I'm the one that filed it, and I saw it. And there'll be all that kind of stuff for a while. But I can't remember. One guy, I can't remember who it was now, but somebody told me the other day that the government has already said they're going to put out another paper in about 6 months. Now, what are they going to come up with in 6 months that they haven't come up with since 1947?
Yeah, but isn't that the plan?
Sure. That is the plan.
I mean, Butch, you think about it. To me, when I see this report, we can go more into this in hour number 2. But when I see this report, I see a lot of cover-up from 1947 to 2004. I see a lot of cover-up. Why not tell us about Phoenix? Is it because there were 65, 70,000 people who eyewitnessed that, and then the next day were made fools of by their governor in Fife-Symington in a press conference? What about the people who still want to know what happened at Roswell? What about the people who want to know what happened at Shag Harbor or Kecksburg or where the Marfa Lights are, the Flatwoods Monster? Yeah. Or what's happening around the volcanoes of Washington, Oregon, and California, where all the sightings are? I mean, there's a lot of big things going on here that it leaves a lot of holes. It also, in my opinion, opens up a lot of conspiracy theories, more than we've ever seen. Because now we have to revisit, is Bob Lazar a liar, or is he telling the truth? Did Eisenhower meet with aliens, or was that just fallacy once again? It opens up a lot of Pandora's boxes that they're trying to keep closed, which is why I think they started at 2004. So looking at the history of it, how important is it that they chose not to go back previous to from 2004?
Well, there'd be so much they'd have to answer for. It'd be impossible for them to do it. I mean, most of the people that were involved up to their foreheads in those investigations are long dead and buried. Most of the UFO researchers back then that were involved in those cases, they're all dead. They've died from anything from being hit by buses and trains and cars and airplane crashes and strange cancers that didn't even exist and such and such and so on. So, I mean, that stuff has been going on for years. They can't really get away with that stuff now because there's too many mouths. People talk. Back then, if the government said, you say anything, you're going to disappear, and so's your whole family, people believe that stuff. Well, they don't get away with that anymore. It's just like the Men in Black. The Men in Black were thrown out there to really scare people and keep them down low. You know what I'm saying? So all you had to do was come up with something like the Men in Black, or the silly white vans that would drive up and down the road, and they could listen to all your conversations, or they could tune into your telephone and stuff like that. They can't get away with that anymore, because you can buy that equipment that'll tell you what's wrong with your house or what they're looking at. But it's one of these things where this is going to keep going for a while. The paper that we got the other day, it's going to keep going on, and there's not going to be a lot of information out there. They'll play a little bit on what they've already put out. They may come up with maybe another sighting or two, but that's as far as it's going to go. And then it's going to drop. And then when people start asking questions, they'll let that build up a crescendo till they get a whole bunch of people. And then they'll come out with another paper, or they'll come out with some excuse that, we couldn't do this, we couldn't do that. We had to protect this guy's identity because it's all secret stuff.
Yeah, I hear you, Butch. Butch, I'm going to get you to hold on right there, because I love the way you're building yourself up. We'll take some audience questions if you're in our chat room or on Twitter, entering hour number 2, as Butch Witkowski's Strange Days, which happens at the end of each month here on Spaced Out Radio, continues with the UFO talk and the DNI report. Are you happy with it? Are you disgusted? I want to know. Make sure you ask it in your questions or comments in one of our chat rooms or on Twitter. Hour 2 next. All right, Butch, I'm just going to run my dogs out. I'll be right back, okay?
What do we got?
Do you want to talk with the audience, or do you want a break?
No, I'm going to take a break.
All right.
I got to fill my gin. I mean, my iced tea.
All right, I'll be right back. I got you on mute, okay? Oh, God, is it hot. It says it's still 79 degrees here. I don't believe that. Got a beautiful sunset, though. Hi, Ed Parnell. Welcome to the show. Let's see. Who else has arrived? Thurston Howell III. How's Lovey doing? Please let us know. Hi, gorgeous Renee. Hello, Irish Lincoln. I'll put your mic back on there. And I'm going to be honest. It's friggin' hot. Friggin' hot.
Yeah, it's humid here, too.
Yeah, we don't have any humidity, which is nice.
It was a killer today, man.
Oh, Walter Sobchak, how you doing? You good, Ukrainian kid? All right. Dave, will there be a new topic tomorrow? Hey, Miss Pickles. Ian Herndon, how are you? Yeah, tomorrow night on the show. Let me find out here for you. Tomorrow night we got Timothy Renner. We're going to do some paranormal stuff tomorrow. We will touch on some ET stuff and UFO stuff with him, but we will get into some paranormal stuff tomorrow. The lovely Lauren has returned home. Welcome.
Tim's a good guy.
Yeah. He's got fantastic hair. High quality beard, too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Plays one mean banjo. All right, we got 30 seconds. Big thank you to Nicola, Sylvia, and James, Anthony, Ed Clader, Murray, and VPXM for the awesome super chats. It's a great way to support what we do on a nightly basis here on Spaced Out Radio. Thank you so much for all of our new subscribers that have clicked on us the last few days. And, of course, all our regulars who are here, we love you. Here we go with the second hour.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We really do appreciate earning your listening ears. We want to say hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America and digitally on TalkStream Live, Revolution Radio, and KPNL. All of our archives are free by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Teratogenic. There we go. Teratogenic is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. We continue on tonight with Butch Witkowski and Strange Days. Butch is a longtime investigator of the strange and odd, and we are looking into the UFO phenomena because he's really, really cranky when it comes to the UFO report that came out last Friday. And we are glad to have Butch here. Butch, thank you so much for joining us.
Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure to have you here as well, my friend. I want to continue on with the history of everything, and we will get to audience questions here momentarily as they pop up. But for you, how much of a disservice is it to the UFO community and the public at large when we talk about not discussing places like Roswell, not discussing the Phoenix Lights, and every other major story in between?
Well, it's always been that way. I mean, from day one. I mean, even the original investigators of Roswell were shut down, made to look like fools, and in some cases destroyed their whole deal that they had going on with the government as far as their careers. None of them have ever been that were involved were ever promoted to anything. I mean, they just ran their time out and they were gone. I mean, look what they, some of the stuff they professed with pilots, like, well, you're seeing Venus. And commercial pilots, they brought anything up and it got out, you were fired. That was the end of your career. So when that retaliation stuff was getting really poor and they weren't getting away with it, it got to the point where they had to make up stuff. And as they made it up, it got more and more ridiculous. Now they're going back to give this new report some kind of credence. They're going back to older reports, like the Kentucky train incident, where a bright white light came down tracks, hit the train, pretty much destroyed the cab of the train. And they said, oh, well, that was a rock fell off of a mountaintop and bounced on a rock and or down the side of the mountain and hit the train. Well, there's no mountain there where the train was hit. The police officer whose patrol car was hit, and he swerved and ran off the road and everything else. And I mean, they didn't say it outright, but they kind of said that, well, he was taking some kind of medication at the time, and that could have caused the incident with the car. Well, he didn't hit anything. Something hit him. There was just so many things. The Stevensville, Texas case, where, I mean, there were just like in Arizona, not as many, but there were a lot of witnesses to that stuff going on. Well, they said it was practice aircraft out of a local Air Force base. Well, they checked. People looked into it. There was nothing. They didn't have anything up flying. They can, they put out just enough to make people question the report, good, bad, or indifferent. There's just enough put out to question the report. Our dear friend who just passed away, Timothy Green Beckley, his last book that he put out, I recommend to everybody. I really do. It's a big book. It goes from day one, all the reports that were ever made, everything you wanted to know about aliens, strange lights in the sky, craft, men in black, people have been abducted, and the book is this thick, and it's a big book, 8.5 by 11. But it's there's so much stuff out there where these people have been just run off the cliff. They just ran them into the ground. I mean, they were telling the truth. A lot of them had the information, and they just done. That was it. Run them under, and whatever comes up, you just stand there and say, well, they're lying, or they have no idea, or they didn't work for us, or we didn't know this, or we didn't know that. But anyway, it's just strange. It's why they do it. I have no idea. It's going to keep happening. People are going to keep coming forward, and there's going to be more videos. There's going to be more pictures. There's going to be more this, more that. And after a while, I mean, the more they try to cover it up, it's like anything else. The more they try to cover up, the worse it gets. And you have folks that have proof. I mean, there's really good information out there, and you just got to know where to go for it. And once you get it and you read it, and I'm not talking about all the books. I mean, they write a book on anything nowadays, but the information from guys like Tim, and Lon and a bunch of others here and overseas. I mean, it's just too strong. It's just too good. You know what I mean? It's when you look back and you start to go back on it and start to do a little background research, that stuff happened, and it continues to happen. So putting out a 9-page piece of paper isn't going to change my mind on anything. I know what I saw, and that's it. They're not going to change my mind. You know, it's just they get crazy. They figure if they spawn that lie and they just keep professing that nonsense, that eventually people will just say like, okay, yeah, maybe you're right. No, it doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work. There's just too much out there, way too much, and it's the way it is. It's the way it's going to be.
Butch, let's get to a question from Gloria here, who is asking, what is your personal belief on what the aliens are?
Well, if they exist, because we have no proof that they do or don't, if they exist, they've probably been around for a long time. They're probably a lot more intelligent. You know, I never followed the theory much of where people were saying, well, they are us. I mean, they came here and settled us, and, you know, and the reptilians got involved, and then we all came about through them. I just don't follow that much at all. But they're not from here. If these are the people that are flying through the universe and they're not hitting anything, and they show up on our doorstep, I mean, with my first sighting and other sightings, I mean, that's not our stuff. I mean, there's no way do we have anything like that. We don't have anything that big that could even get into the sky. And it's just crazy. I just think that whatever they are, they are. If they want to make themselves available or put themselves out there, they will. If they don't, they won't. And I always call them space brethren, because I don't know what else to call them. But there's so many weird things that go on in this world. I mean, it's just not UFOs. I mean, it's all the other stuff that's just crazy. And but disclosure or not, we'll never know the truth, I don't think. Maybe not in my time, maybe sometime in the future, but not in my time. So really all you can do is read what they give you and take it, you know, with a grain of salt and go on with your research. And that's what a lot of guys are doing. This didn't faze them in the least, that I can tell, by any means.
I think, in my estimation of this question, is I believe they have been here for a long time. I think the government knows that they are non-violent, but they are probably tricksters. They like to play games, and why not tease the officials if they see how the officials tease the population? I think that's what's happening. Let's face it, with all of the interaction that has happened over the years, for us to sit here and think that these extraterrestrials, if they are here, which I do believe they are, because I've seen them, all right, if they are here, they would have already taken us out. If they've been here a long time, they really, really wanted to take over this planet, they would have done it when our most powerful weapon was a catapult and a musket. Yeah. Maybe a cannon and a bow and arrow. They weren't waiting for jet fighters. They weren't waiting for helicopters with 50 caliber guns mounted on the nose of it. They weren't waiting for supersonic aircraft, hypersonic missiles, strategic nuclear weapons. They weren't waiting for that to all of a sudden say, oh, we're bad. We're bad. We're a Michael Jackson song. Who's bad? Right? They weren't waiting for that at all, Butch.
No.
All right. They could have done it with their heartbeat. And for people to sit there and think that, you know, we got to put nuclear weapons in space. We have to get weapons up there. That's our only way of defeating them. Well, number one, you've been watching too much Independence Day. But if you watch Independence Day, you will learn a nuclear bomb didn't work. All right. Number two, do you really think that anything we have is going to be advanced compared to what they have? They just traveled millions upon millions of light years to get here, we can suspect. I can guarantee that they have better technology than what we have here. So if they really wanted to take us over, if they really wanted to make humanity slaves, they would have already. But that being said, I'm not saying there aren't bad ones here. Okay, for every good, there's bad. There's probably some bad species here too. The ones that take you, the ones who take people and don't bring them back. All right? I'm sure it's out there. But I would say for the greater good of humanity, there is no threat. Yet the threat phenomena keeps the ball rolling and keeps money coming in, Butch.
Yeah, exactly. And as long as that is still out there, and it's usually kind of one of those tongue-in-cheeks or statements that comes out from somebody, then it's just like the series on TV, Ancient Aliens. I mean, they have an answer for everything, no matter what. It's a building or it's a monument or it's the way somebody cut their grass. It's definitely aliens. That's easy to say because you can say aliens did anything. I mean, this LED light right here, is that alien technology? I guess if I professed it enough, somebody'd believe it. But there's just so much out there that's nonsense. And when you try to put that out there with that nonsense, it's just like, people come after you with it. But
well, I get you. Let's get to a question from Jennifer here, who is asking, Butch, do you think there is a quickening in the UFO experiences in this last few decades? If so, why? Or is it just that we have better communication these days, i.e. the interwebs?
I think it's just better communication. I really do. UFO experiences, they go way, way back. I mean, they go back a couple centuries, more than that. And, you can't, and I keep saying this, and people say, oh, no, everybody lies. Well, to put this stuff out there, I mean, these people would have to be like gold medal winners in the lying section of the group. I mean, there's just things that have happened. I mean, some are real horror stories. Some are just sad, especially when it goes back where a whole family went through some type of abduction or some type of experience where nobody talks about it for many, many years, and then a sister mentions it to a brother 50 years after it happened, and there it is. And there's so many different types of aliens. I mean, I keep going back to that one thing that used to be on TV where the menu, the guy thinks he's getting a free ride in outer space. Turns out he's on the menu. But it's there's so much to this, and when you try to explain some of this to somebody, I mean, it's overwhelming. I mean, you can overwhelm them in a matter of minutes. But the proof, it's out there. I mean, it's been out there. Just like you said, you have, well, you can go from anything. You take it from the little grays to shapeshifters to reptilians to the large grays, the medium-sized grays. Now we have the abductees, what they describe. And it's funny when you look at abduction scenario. Back in the late 1800s, people were put away. I mean, they locked them up. They thought they were lunatics. But when you read their story, I mean, you could take that abduction story that they said, and you can move that into the 20th and 21st century. I mean, it's the same thing. So that to me is the abduction scenario has always been. They aren't the good guys. Let's put it that way. You know, they're not helping anybody out. Whatever they're doing, whether it's the cows or the mutilation, the animal mutilations or the human mutilations or the abductions, I mean, that stuff is real. I mean, it has happened. It's documented. I mean, by law enforcement and the medical field. And it's not just everybody thinks this stuff only happens. This stuff happens all over the world. It just doesn't happen in the United States. It doesn't happen in Canada or South America. It's everywhere. I mean, Belgium has some of the best sightings recorded and photographed that were ever taken. So, you know, it's not like they're right down the street. And, you know, there's just so many theories. Like the reptilians living underground in California. That's been around since the 1800s. Where it started, who knows? There have been stories of miners that have been trapped and they were gotten out of their predicament by what they described as reptilian-looking beings that dug them out and got them to where they needed to get out. So there's good and bad. We don't know that. I mean, it only goes by the reports and the studies that are done. I mean, and then there's the government influence. If they want to hide something, they just make up a good story, and you know, if they say it long enough and hard enough, people will start to believe it. Like the Dyatlov case. These kids died of hypothermia. Really? Hypothermia. How'd they get all those wounds? How'd they get all those bones breaking, fractures, skulls, lacerations, eyes removed, teeth, you know, tongues removed? And I don't mean just the tongue was eaten out. The tongue was ripped out. So, but they did their second investigation and they said they died of hypothermia. Okay, whatever. But I don't want to get started on that. I get crazy every time I dig into that one.
I know you do. We got 2 minutes here before we have to go to break. I want you to comment on Troy's comment here. Disclosure will come from the entities themselves and on their terms. Anything else is nothing but smoke and mirrors.
I agree 100%. I agree 100%. If there's going to be any disclosure, it'll be by them, not on, and on their terms, not anything we come up with, because whatever we come up with evidently is always some kind of bull crap or some kind of so far outreaching nonsense that, you know, just gives you a headache reading it. But I agree with that. I think it'll be on their own terms and the way they want to do it. And I agree, most of the stuff that we deal with from the government, not most, all, is smoke and mirrors. I agree with Troy.
All right, let's get to one more question here. Carrie Ann is asking, Butch, do you think some of these missing 411 cases are aliens?
Yes. Yes, I do. Now, some are legit, where, you know, they've been attacked by mountain lion, bear, lunatics, you know, mass crazies that run around in the woods. But there's just cases in 411 that, I mean, they're crazy. I mean, the people just disappear in steps ahead of anybody else. There's no mountain lion. There's no animal comes down and grabs them and runs off, and no eagle picks them up and flies off. These people just vanished. They're there and then they're not. And that doesn't happen. That just doesn't happen.
All right. Do you want to sneak in one more? We got 30 seconds.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people blame the 411 on
Bigfoot.
Well, we don't know he's for real either. We're still, after 50 years, we don't have any proof of him.
Very true. You know what? I think what we're going to do here is we're going to wait on Sean's question from the chat room because we got a lot more coming up here and we just really don't have enough time to go on. But Butch Witkowski's Strange Days is on the radio as we bring in Butch at the end of each month to kind of break down the month that was in the weird, strange, and wild. Of course, all eyes are on the UFO world right now when it comes to the debriefing of the DNI report, the preliminary assessment of unidentified aerial phenomena. We'll be back with more Spaced Out Radio right after this. Boy, I just noticed a major screw up on my part.
Okay, what?
I forgot to click live on my one screen. So we are only broadcasting on YouTube tonight. That is really, really bad on my part. Very amateur. I don't know how I forgot that.
Have you fixed it?
Well, there's no point in starting it now because... So... Fuck. Pardon my language. But fuck. Oh, well, I'll have to find a different show here. How did that even happen? I know why it happened because I was worried about the audio thing. Hey, Jurassic Joey. How you doing? Eric Cooper. It is amateur, man. Totally amateur. Gary, you got to kick my ass for this one. There's Super Lon Strickler, everyone. Super Lon. He never goes a Monday night without wearing his bright orange cape. It's true. Butch Witkowski told me. SJ, what's going on? Nucker, how you doing? It's friggin' hot. All right, now I got to find a show to make sure the radio side has something for tomorrow. Good job, Dave. Real pro there. That's just terrible. Absolutely terrible. Anybody have any suggestions? Let's see. Let's go way back. Which means I can't even play a UFO show. We'll find one from last summer. I know what we'll do. Where are we here? Susan. That's the one I will replay right there for them. There we go. It's all right, Butch. We're still live on YouTube and everything.
Okay.
Hey, Gary Rusin, how are you? Right now, it's about 80 degrees Fahrenheit outside the studio. It was 103 today. Talking to these American numbers. 41 Celsius today. Oh, excuse me. Mr. Duff, how are you? What a dumb move. Night Gazer, what's happening? Oh, Minister Elaine, she's going real bad here. Poop happens. Poop happens. That it does. That it does. Oh, man. All right, whatever. Hi, Double Tim. Eric Cooper and Cooper's Beard, please give us a beard update if you don't mind. We'd appreciate that, Coop. Thank you to Minister Elaine, Horror Round, VPXM, Murray, Ed, Anthony, Sylvia and James, and Nicola for the awesome super chats. It's a great way to support what we do on this show. And we're going to kick off here the second half of the show right now. Second half of Spaced Out Radio is underway tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for tuning us in. Really do appreciate earning your listening ears. Want to remind you that if you have missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. I want to bring in Butch Witkowski from UFOcop.com. Strange Days is the topic of the night. We've been focusing on UFOs ever since the UFO report came out. Now, Butch, I know you're somebody, once again, who is not for it. You think the public got ripped off. You think there's a lot more stories that should have come out. If you were writing that report, what would you want the public to know?
Oh, more up to date. Even if you only went back 2 years, you'd far surpass thousands of reports. And out of the thousands of reports, even if you came up with 50 good ones, that would really enlighten a lot of folks. But they're never going to do that. They're always going to put in something that is classified, or we're not going to talk about it, or we'll let you know when we figure it out. And it's just a you just have this nonsense of secrecy that means nothing, because eventually it comes out in the wash.
What stories would you want in there, though?
Oh my, there's so many there. I mean, there's not stories, but reports of you have lines of cars stopping on both sides of a highway while three unknown craft hover above a nuclear facility. I mean, there's 4 or 5 reports like that. Of course, everybody knows that we've had UFO reports of hanging over nuclear defense facilities, both here and in other countries. And there's been a lot of reports like that, and they're just never mentioned. I mean, and whoever took the pictures, I mean, that was just great, because there's these pictures of all these cars parked on both sides of a 4-lane highway, and they're all looking in the same direction.
It really, really does seem, though, that they want to keep this militarized. They don't want to talk about public sightings. Why do you think that is, Butch?
I don't have an answer for that. It makes no sense. I mean, there are so many things that we don't know, so many things that we do know, and it doesn't matter whether we know them or we don't know them or we're trying to figure them out. We're always going to have somebody from the government saying like, no, ain't happening, never happened, won't happen, can't happen. There's always a throwback, and that gets old hat after a while. You just get tired of it. So when they come out with stuff like this 9-page report, that's just my way of saying like I believe that. And it's
Butch, I think one of the things that we're missing on the report, though, is the fact that we are trusting the government that they are stupid on this. In fact, Mittens Romney, and I love calling him Mittens, okay, literally came out today on CNN saying that he believes that they are not from this earth, that they are from somewhere else. Now, I read somewhere where, people were saying, well, of course he's going to say that. He's Mormon. But on the flip side, he said he was read in. He saw the top secret report, and his conclusion is it's not from here. He doesn't believe it's Russia, doesn't believe it's China. So, I mean, we have a lot of high-profile people admitting that it's not Russia and China, that it's a good chance that it's not from this planet. They're admitting that it's not an American black project. What is the problem with trying to just come out and say, look, this is what we're getting? Because maybe it's just me, but if it's from outer space, it's alien.
Well, it's going to change if it does come out. If it does come out, it's going to change a lot of things. It's going to change academia. It's going to change religions. A lot of things are going to change, or at least the people's thoughts are going to change. So, and the government has this fear like everybody's going to go absolutely bat crap crazy and run around and start destroying and whatever, and building bunkers in their basements. But look, we know something's there. We have nothing that can compare, and it's just not from people on the ground looking up. You got people in the space station that are witnessing stuff on the moon. They're witnessing stuff outside from the capsules in those days. Stuff that's outside the window. I mean, so you're trying to tell me that this pathological liar is up there with a multi-trillion-dollar piece of equipment that you trust him with, but what he tells you he sees out of his window or he photographs makes him a lunatic. No, they can't keep their story straight. They never could. I mean, even putting out this piece of crap that they put out on the 25th, I mean, that was only put out there to keep people quiet. There were just too many people asking questions about what's this, what's that, where'd they come from, are they real, are these gun camera films real, are these pilots telling the truth, or are they all a bunch of liars, or these other countries that are coming up with the same stuff, and they just following our lead and to run people around in circles. Just out there to placate the civilian population and the non-believers.
But it's easy to do that if people don't want to believe.
Yeah, sure is. Been like that for a long time.
What's the solution then? Is that why they're keeping it right towards the military?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, because they can always come up with its national security. That's been the answer for things like this for so long. It makes me crazy. Everything's national security. They got national security for sightings back in World War II. They cite national security. What the heck does that have to do with it? World War II was 70 years ago. So either the guy doing the national security work is really slow or he's really stupid. But, they wrote off Foo Fighters. They said that was just a weather-related phenomenon. That's not true. They had clear weather. I mean, you got pilots reporting it, gunners on these B-17s, and fighter planes reporting it from all sides. Japan was reporting them. Germany was reporting them. We were reporting them. Everybody was up in the sky. The Russians were reporting them. So what are you going to say? You did it, you did it, you did it, you did it. And they're all going like, no, we didn't do nothing. They just kept blaming everybody else. Russians thought we had it. Japanese thought the Germans had it. The Germans thought that we had it. We thought the Germans had it. It just, the more you muddy up the water, the more crazier it sounds. And they count on that. They really do count on that. The more that they can throw up there, like you said, about you take that mud and throw it up and see what sticks to the wall, that's what they're going to go with.
Very true. But, I mean, when do you think aliens will come into the picture here?
No, I think they've been in and out of the picture for years. The Men in Black were the original shapeshifters, I guess. But shapeshifting has been around for a long time, too. I mean, vampires were shapeshifters. The indigenous, with their medicine men who were shapeshifters. Shapeshifting has been around for a long, long time. And I do not say I don't believe in those, because, we have the reports of these bipedal canines here in Pennsylvania that just don't go away. I mean, these people are seeing something. And it would be different if there were different descriptions, like somebody said they were green, somebody said they were pink, somebody said they were wearing a top hat. No, these reports are identical. I can take report number 1 and take it to report number 59. Just the description of what they saw is exactly the same. They don't live near each other. They have no connection to any cryptozoology groups or anything like that. So it's just the way it is.
I get that, and I can appreciate that. But do you think that at any time in the near future that we will see any sort of transition from the United States government from we don't know where they're from to, ladies and gentlemen, we are not alone? That's what people are waiting for.
It may come to that, Dave. I mean, you can only, you're only going to push this garbage so far. And, after a while, they're going to put something out and people are just going to go like, I don't think so. So, it's just, or I always said that disclosure is going to happen when a saucer lands in somebody's backyard and they're smart enough not to report it to the police or anybody else, but they call the local news and news gets on site, and then that'll be the end of it. But people have been crying for disclosure. I mean, there were big, rallies and in front of the White House and Congress back in the early 50s to make disclosure. And they didn't do it. They just let them do their thing and they went away. But I don't know. I think in time something will happen. Either it's going to be a crash, or it's going to be, like you said, they just walk up and say, okay, well, my name is such and such, and I'm from planet so-and-so, and I've been here since blah, 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 and then it goes on from there. But it's just crazy. If these things are just being seen by average people, but they're not. They're being reported by police, Navy, Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force, all these different countries. Their armed forces are reporting them. Longtime researchers. There's just so much out there that eventually they're not going to have an excuse anymore. I mean, somebody's going to pop up with the body of a gray, or the body of a Bigfoot, or some bipedal canine or something like that got hit by a truck. But anyway, that's the way it's going to happen. It's just going to be an accident that they won't be able to cover up. They'll be screwed.
It is possible that happens.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, but do you think the military has an idea of where these crash sites are going to happen? Because for a while there, it seemed like there were quite a few, and it's part of the phenomena we don't really hear of anymore. When's the last time you heard about a crash site?
Long time. I think the last one was probably, I think that was in Russia, and we're not even sure that was real. Um, there's a bunch of pictures of it on the internet, but nobody knows if it even took place. But I think that was the last one I heard of.
Well, there was one apparently, allegedly, in Manitoba in the winter a few years ago. I'm just trying to find. It was in near Jackhead. Okay, this is going back to 2015, where people believe that a UFO crashed into the lake, which was frozen in Jackhead, Manitoba. And the military went racing in there and said, no, we're on training. So if I read the CBC report, it says social media reports of a possible UFO sighting last night near Jackhead, Manitoba are not true, says the Canadian Forces, which attributed the bright light people saw to an airplane from a training exercise. There's no aliens, they were told. No aliens.
Well, you had that New Jersey at the Air Force Base in New Jersey, where a military policeman swears and declares he shot one. He said it came over the fence. He told it to halt. It didn't halt. He unholstered his .45 automatic and put two in it. And the government swore and declared it never happened. Never happened. But they took his gun. It had 2 rounds fired. He had a lie detector test, which he passed, and then he was thrown out of the military.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's not very nice. That's not very nice at all.
Mm-mm.
Minister Elaine says, I have a friend that says military bases already have ETs.
That's possible. I mean, you can't get on these bases. Sure, it's possible.
If you were hiding craft or ET bodies or live ETs, where would you put them?
Good question. Couldn't tell you. I don't know where you'd put them.
Come on, where would Uncle Butch hide them?
Oh, my. Maybe my shed. Nobody was back here but me.
Do you think they're still at Wright Pat or Area 51?
No. They've moved that stuff all around so many times. And, when you get on those bases, you can't go anywhere. They have a tour of Wright-Patterson, a tour. They put you on a bus, they drive you around the flight line twice, and they park it, and that's it. That's the end of the tour. So, I don't know. I just couldn't tell you. I don't know where I put one.
Alaska for me.
Oh, yeah, that would work.
You got all those little islands coming off the coast.
Yeah.
Perfect place. Nobody's going there. It's too cold. The ocean's too dangerous. Nobody's going there.
I got to answer Jennifer Rebecca right here. Are you a veteran? Yes, I am.
There you go. All right. USA proud, hide ET on abandoned oil derricks. That's a good call.
Yeah, never thought of that one. I don't know. We got a lot of empty mines up here in Pennsylvania. That'd be another good place. Wow. Never thought of that either. Now you got me crazy. Now I'll be thinking about all kind of places to hide ET.
Space Cow says Guam. That's a good place.
Yeah.
Jenny says underground in the Dumbs, deep underground military bases where they live now.
There's a lot of people that They believe that 100%. I'm not talking about the ones that are well publicized. I'm talking about the ones that are everywhere. You know, people, especially a lot of researchers said a lot of these bases that we had for intercontinental ballistic missiles that have been shut down for years. I mean, that's like a little underground city, and nobody can get in those places. I mean, they're still guarded like there's still missiles there, and there's no missiles there. But you step foot on that ground, and you can take a ride in the back of the car. And Area 51, Area 52, I mean, you're not getting anywhere near that place. No way.
SJ wants to know, Butch, Bob Lazar story, yay or nay? Your
Yay.
thoughts?
Yay. If you would have been fired and left go, that's one thing. But they not only fired him, they tried to destroy him. And if it was just something stupid did, they would just fire him and tell him to go down and collect the check. But they kept at it for years trying to destroy that guy's life. And then they hired him back.
That's the one that messes with me, is the fact that here he is, a government contractor 30 years later.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I think happened there, and a lot of people don't look at it this way.
Okay.
You can question his schooling, his credentials, whether he was there or not, all you want. But if you look at it from a media perspective, KLAS in Las Vegas has never retracted the story.
That's correct.
And George Knapp has never retracted the story.
Nope.
Add to the fact that right after that happened, Bob Lazar was getting death threats. And 6 months after all of this blows up, the death threats end, and he ends up in a business with Robert Bigelow.
Yep.
Who's Robert Bigelow tied to? George Knapp and
Yep.
Harry Reid.
And Roger Lear.
And Roger Lear. Not so much John Lear, pardon me.
John Lear.
John Lear.
Yep.
All right. But the main reason, and I've heard George Knapp saying, he's told this to me as well, they had between 5 and 8, I believe, other eyewitnesses to corroborate that Bob Lazar worked there. And shortly before they were going to go on the air with them, the people had to cancel the interview because they were threatened with their jobs and livelihoods. Said it would not be a very smart decision for them to go on KLAS.
Oh, that's how they've controlled people for many, many years. I mean, before it was given over and all that garbage was handed to the men in black. I mean, you know, a couple guys in military uniform come up and knock on your door and say, you open your mouth and we're just gonna make you all disappear. You and your whole family, you're just gonna be gone. I mean, That's just the way it was. And the minute, like the czar and many other people who just slightly mentioned that they knew something, not that they knew anything, but they just mentioned to somebody they knew it, and that got back to the wrong people, and they miraculously got run over by a car, or they drowned while they were on vacation, or like I said before, they came up with some type of cancer that killed them in 7 days that nobody ever heard of that type of cancer. So, there's a website. It's been on for many, many years. It's still on the internet, and it says who's killing our researchers. And when you look at the list of the UFO researchers that died or were killed or whatever, I mean, it's just not one or two. There's pages, and how they died, and you have the proverbial suicide where they shot themselves twice in the back of the head. Neat trick if you could do it, I guess. But amazing. It's just amazing. And what is the big secret? All you got to do is look up in the air at night or even in daytime. We don't have anything that can do that. We just can't. We don't have anything that can do that. I mean, I watched one standing right outside of a state trooper. Both of us were watching it. I said to him, I said, "Do you see that often?" And he went like, "Oh, I see them all the time." I said, "You ever report it?" He said, "Are you crazy?" He said, "I like my job."
I can see that. I can see that. Butch, I'm going to get you to hold on right there because we are going to go to break at the top of the hour. We have Butch Witkowski for another 30 minutes here on Spaced Out Radio. And then we're going to get to the SOR Newswire. We're going to get to the Thought of the Dave. Stay tuned. Spaced Out Radio with Butch Witkowski from UFOcop.com continues with Strange Days right after this. I'm going to be right back. I got to see what's burning outside because I know there's a forest fire about an hour away.
Oh,
Yeah. Here we go. Forest fire season.
how? What do we got? A few minutes?
Yeah.
Oh,
Just
okay.
put your microphone on mute.
Okay.
Okay. I am back.
You all right, buddy?
Yeah, I just dropped a water bottle. But that's okay. Nothing spilled. Yeah, there's a forest fire burning somewhere. That's always nice this time of year. You know, always nice. Gotta love it. All right. I actually have an air conditioner upstairs, just not one in this room, in the studio. And with all the gear here, it's kind of warm.
Got to get one of those little cube things. They're pretty cool. Just pour water in the top and turn it on.
Yeah. Trying to find an air conditioner around British Columbia right now. You got a better chance of finding Carbon San Diego or Waldo. It's all right. Take a cold shower before bed. Bring the temperature down. Go from there. You know how it goes.
Yep.
You're Butch fucking Witkowski. Nobody messes with you.
My wife.
Well, that's allowed. That's allowed. Hi, Aussie Steve. How you doing, buddy? Oh, Minister Elaine, you're way too kind. Way too kind. You don't have to do that. I'll go buy one. All right, we got 15 seconds. Thank you to Minister Elaine, Horror Realm, VPXM, Murray, Ed, Anthony, Sylvia, and James, and Nicola for the awesome super chats. Here we go with the third and final hour. We got Butch till the bottom.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Here we go with the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We really do appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are. This beautiful planet we call Earth. Want to say hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America and digitally on TalkStream Live, Revolution Radio, and KPNL. All of our archives are free by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Teratogenic. Teratogenic is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. For the final time tonight, we introduce Butch Witkowski and Strange Days. Butch joins us at the end of each month, where we hang out and discuss all the good things about the woo and everything in between. And Butch, you know, it would be remiss if we didn't talk about any creepy cryptids or monster sightings that you've had in the last month since you were last on.
Right now we're at a state game lands where a tall, thin, white, I guess the term that everybody uses with that type of creature is a rake, has been seen. We have camera traps set up. I've gotten the usual on the camera traps, you know, the hikers, all the creatures made by God. And but there's one area where the one camera in the very beginning picked up a shadow. It's an old farm. Not the farm isn't there anymore, but the retaining walls and the some parts of the foundation are still there. And so we switched some cameras around, and I got that shadow again. I don't know what the shadow is. I can't make it out. Um, so we went down, changed all the cameras around, left the ones on the trails to where they are, and the ones that I moved over to watch the farm area is now all infrared. I switched them from regular color film, from color, taking color pictures or black and whites to infrared. So hopefully that'll help me try to discern what I'm looking at. But right now it's a shadow. It's just a shadow. But it's there. It's been there on 2 different occasions. So I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Any new bipedal canine sightings?
Still working on one up north. The guy's description is a little squirrely, and what I'm not being facetious or stupid when I say that. It's just that it doesn't kind of match up with what we saw before. So I'm thinking he's either seeing a bear, and in the area where he's from is a lot of black bear standing up, or it could be any tall animal. It's too far away to tell, and the photographs he took were kind of squirrely. So we'll see. I got somebody on that. One of the guys are up in that area, so we'll see what's going on.
How about Bigfoot sightings?
None. No, not that I'm aware of. I know there's I think 2 reports out in western Pennsylvania, but I didn't get any part of that. There's another investigator and another team on that. But in the area that we cover, which is all of Pennsylvania really, but where we've had our sightings are mostly in the central Pennsylvania or eastern Pennsylvania, southeastern. So we'll see. The guy always publishes his answers, so we'll see what happens.
I got a quick question here from Predator, who is asking, what's the next step for disclosure, in your opinion?
Oh, there'll be another paper put out. In a few months, they'll let you know where they're at and what they've done with, the paper that they put out, what the task force has come up with, or where they're moving to, or, they couldn't find anything with this, but they're going to try this, or there'll be something. It'll be another paper, and it'll have to do with the task force. So the UAP task force.
I think they officially in the next paper eliminate Russia and China. They mention them in this one, and I think the next paper that'll be due, there'll be more military sightings. I think we might get more Air Force sightings, maybe some from the Army, hopefully more from the Navy. I think we're going to see more pilots come out. There's a rumor that tomorrow Jeremy Corbell will release another video, this time of a fleet of UFOs. TMZ is also planning on releasing one as well. Who knows where they got it from? I mean, it could be anything. So that's where I see it happening. All right. Question for Mr. BoobTube. Who collects Bigfoot reports for Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania Bigfoot Society, we do. Lon Strickler, Phantoms and Monsters does. Stan Gordon. There's quite a few. I'd say there's maybe 8 or 10 different folks that collect that information. Pennsylvania Bigfoot Society is the biggest. They've been around the longest.
Not a fan of them?
No, they're good people. No, they're good guys. They're out doing their thing. I mean, they go out and they look and they watch. You have some independents that are out there. John Redchun is one of them. He's out. A lot of these people are out every weekend, and they seem to all have their own study area that they go to all the time. And they've gotten some really good stuff over the years. Pennsylvania Bigfoot Society, they published all their reports. So, folks are out there doing their thing, whether it's UFOs or bipedals or Bigfoot or any other entities that shouldn't be there.
All right, let's get to another question here from our audience. And Chrismo in Austria is asking, is the secret stuff out yet? The 70 pages, I mean. The answer there is no, it's not out yet. But do you expect the leaks to start coming out anytime soon, Butch?
Maybe in a couple months. Not right away, though. That's going to be... I don't think any of the classified stuff will ever come out. And if it does, it's going to be such hit and miss, it won't make any sense to anybody that's reading it. That's usually the way it happens.
Carrie Ann in central Pennsylvania is asking, any sightings around Yellow Creek, any bipedals? I know someone who thinks they saw one there.
What county is that in?
That I don't know.
Oh, Carrie Ann, what county?
We'll find out here momentarily when she answers. We'll get to that. Okay. Teen is asking, I'm not sure, but Arizona has a Bigfoot, but I'm not sure if it's what kind of Bigfoot it is, what it's called. Have you heard anything from Arizona?
Northern Arizona, yes. There's been Bigfoot reports in that area. Yeah. Not southern, northern. Up around the White Mountain area, near the Apache Reservation.
Very cool. Still waiting for Carrie Ann to answer. Bigfoot fat creep. Anyone ever claimed to have eaten a Bigfoot?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
VPXM is asking, Butch, what's your take on the Mandela effect?
I really don't know enough to even qualify a good answer on that. There's so many people. There's so many ways to look at that. I don't know. I really never got into that much. I don't know. I guess I really don't have a take on it.
Okay. Well, let's go here again. And Alien Critters asking, Butch, are there reports of Bigfoot in the Allegheny National Forest?
Absolutely, yes. And bipedal.
You want to expand on that?
I would say we have more bipedal reports in the Allegheny National Forest than we do Bigfoot, but there have been Bigfoot reports in the Allegheny National Forest. That's an absolute.
Has Dave ever fallen asleep during a show? Butch, you want to answer that, or you want me to?
No, go ahead.
All right. The answer is yes. Yes, I have. This was way before we were on camera, way before we were on YouTube. Not that the guest was boring. I had some real trouble sleeping, and I actually dozed off. The guest had one of those real monotone type voices, and the next thing I know, they're answering. I put my head down like this, and I got my headphones on, and literally I ended up dozing off, and there was about 30, 40 seconds of dead air, and the guest said, hello? I'm like, oh, yeah, sorry, I was thinking. No, I had fallen asleep. Let's see here. A real rude question from Space Cow. Are all Edmonton Oiler fans related to Bigfoot, or do they just look like it? Hey, looky here. I am an Oilers fan. I take that personally. You're acting like a Flames fan right now, Space Cow. Acting like a Flames fan. Huh? I'd take, I'd take my Oilers every day. How many cups do you have, Calgary? How many cups do you have? All right. Carrie Ann, I did ask your question about Butch and bipedals. He's wondering what county Yellow Creek is in. And Predator is asking, what do you think about CE5?
It was one of the very first books that I really, really enjoyed reading. It's that the whole series of CE5 is fascinating. And if anybody's not read the book, it's called CE5. Get it, read it. It's very good. It's very puts a lot of stuff in your head that you never would have thought of.
Describe CE5 for people who may not know.
Well, there's classes of abductions and sightings, and what CE5 does is pretty much put everything into perspective and makes it all kind of come together. That's probably the best way I can describe it. It's just very well put, very well written, and it's just a good book. Let's put it that way.
All right, let's see what else the audience has for us. And let's see here. Nikki is asking, Butch, what are the tallest Bigfoot you've had reports of, and where were they?
8 foot to 10 foot were the sizes, mostly in state parks here in Pennsylvania. We don't have very many reports outside of the state parks here in Pennsylvania, whether it's bipedal or Bigfoot or other creatures that are seen. But the size, between 8 and 10 foot, that's pretty much the same size. Always dark fur. Just massive build. Pretty much a description of everything out there. Although I've read lately, there's in I think it's Washington State, a few Bigfoot reports are putting them at 5 and 6 foot. That's kind of strange to me because I always figured they were much bigger than that. But that was just in that state, 5 and 6 foot tall.
All right. Up here in British Columbia, way north towards Alaska, they're apparently getting up to 12 to 15 feet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the further they are in that type of area, even the Yeti in the Himalayas, when they were first seen, they were described as 7, 8 foot, and recent reports over the years have put them up in that 12 to 14 foot. But in the high mountains, they're not lowland.
No, I understand that. But what do you think causes the size differential?
It could be the habitat, what they're eating. Are they on a lot of flat land? Are they climbing a lot of mountains? I guess their muscle mass has something to do with it too.
That's interesting. All right, let's move on here. See if we got any more. We've already the different question regarding missing 411. Chad is asking, do you think there are connections between Bigfoot sightings and missing 411 cases?
Yeah, I kind of agree with Dave Pallades. I mean, he's seen all that evidence firsthand, and some of them are kind of squirrely, and even he admits to that. But there's some that are really do lean toward, Bigfoot.
All right. Big Fat Creep is asking, are there any reports that you have of Bigfoot talking?
No. Mm-mm. I've only read a couple of those, and they were up in, one was in Oregon, I believe, and the other one was in Washington State.
And one in BC. The one I told you about. You always forget my report. Always. What's a guy to do? Any new skinwalker sightings?
No.
Oh, Wendigo.
No.
Well, you're making it challenging for me with your long-winded answers here. All right. The gorgeous Jordan Ashley Pettit is asking, Butch, what's the most strangest creature you've seen and where?
My mother-in-law at my wedding.
You never seen anything.
No, really. And all the stomping around and driving around and money spent and time freezing, getting rained on, and everything else. No, I've never seen.
What do you want to see?
I'd really like to see a bipedal canine.
Yeah.
I mean, they're kind of elusive. They don't run away. That's like most Bigfoot reports will say, oh, they saw us or we saw it and it took off. These things don't run away. They stay there. And they wait for you to run away. So I just think, yeah, that's what I want to see. Bipedal canine.
Right on. Right on. Let's see. Mr. Teen here on Twitch wants to know, what story had you scared and worried?
Haven't run into one of those yet. No. The unknown doesn't scare me. I don't have any fear of the unknown. I guess that's just me, I guess.
You are so rebellious. So rebellious.
Actually, I'm Polish.
Well, I figured that. And Don wants to know if there's anything new from the weird barn.
No, the creatures left the barn. They're out in the field. One's in the northern section of the field, and it's not as dominant or as clear sight as before. And the other one, the absolutely taller one, which was down by a big pile of dirt that they had cleared off when they built the barn and moved that down to the far end of the field toward the highway. Every now and then, if you're looking through infrared, you can see movement, but they look the same. Just an entity, as best I can describe it. There's no form. I mean, it's not like you're looking at, there's a head and arms and stuff. No, it's a form, and it's just there. Now, when I did talk to the guy that owned the farm the last time, he was saying about, he still hears noises coming out of the pond, but that was back when it was really cold, so that was out of the question. So I guess I'll be reaching out to him now that the weather's a little on the warm side and get a camera down in that pond and see what's there, if anything.
Do you have a specialty as what you like to investigate?
Yeah, I like to investigate everything. I really don't have a favorite. I mean, if I had a favorite, then that's probably all I'd be doing if I was just looking for Bigfoot or a bipedal canine or whatever. But no, I don't really have a favorite. I just have it stuck in my head. I just want the truth. It's just kind of a weird thought, but that's it. Are they out there? Do they exist? I already know what's in the sky. I've seen that enough. But that's pretty much it.
We got a minute to go with you, buddy.
Okay.
That show flew on by.
They usually do.
Well, that's why we like to have fun with you here. That was some good crank you put on that first hour and a half there, though. Very good crank.
You and the crank.
I don't bring it up, man. I don't bring it up. You have a reputation to uphold.
Oh,
People expect a cranky Butch Witkowski on Spaced Out Radio. And thank goodness things have lined up the past few months. I know. You just shake your head.
yeah. My favorite time of the month.
I know. I'm like a fungus. You just can't get rid of me.
Nope. Nope. I don't even remember how many years it is anymore. 5, 6.
Oh, 5 years, 5.5 years. It's flown on by. Butch, thank you so much, man.
Oh, you're quite welcome, sir.
We'll talk to you next. We'll talk to you next month
again.
We'll do it. We'll do it. Coming up next, I don't know what we're gonna do. We're not on the radio tonight. I thought we were. We're not. Maybe we'll read the news. Maybe I'll change it up. Either way, Shirky will hang me from the short and curlies. We'll be back on Spaced Out Radio right after this. All right. We got a choice here. And Butch, we'll say goodnight to you first. But
okay.
Thank you.
Take care,
Thank you so much, buddy.
You got it.
Good night. All right. We're going to, we'll do a choice here. All right. I am going to give you guys a choice because I never do this. All right. I never do this. Ever. Ever, never, ever. Right? I'm going to give you guys a choice. We could go with the news, or I could put the link to the broadcast feed in the chat room, and you guys can join me and ask some questions about the disclosure and your thoughts. What do you prefer? Do you want the news, or do you want we're in YouTube chat, Teen. You got to come to our YouTube channel. You want personal encounters, Gloria. Gloria! Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'll put it in here for you. Questions. Okay, Jordan wants the news. We'll do the thought of the Dave. We'll still do the thought of the Dave. Horoscopes. Joe wants... Filth wants hell in the cell. All right, we'll take some calls. There is the StreamYard link. So if you want to hook up on the StreamYard link, you can do so. Okay. One question. I'll put the link in there right now again. One question. That's it. Hold on, Brian Smith. I see you. No worries, man. You just wait there patiently. Chew that gum, buddy. Chew that gum rock hard. All right, Jim Morris in the UK. How you doing, buddy? You just sit tight there. Oh, that chapeau looks fantastic, Jim Morris. Fantastic. All right. Space Cow, do you pick your nose in traffic? If I have a nasty nose goblin, I'm going after it. Don't care. All right. I picked my nose on YouTube accidentally once because I had one big booger in there. Yep. Need to get it out. I did. Hey, New York Anthony's coming on in. Just sit tight, Anthony. You're number 3, okay? He looks like he's shopping in in the Metamucil aisle at the Walmart there. Definitely. We got a few seconds here. All right. All right. No, we'll just start right now. Hold on. We'll just start right now. We'll just keep that potted down. Yeah. All right, let's go to some calls here. All right. Brian Smith.
Hey,
how are you,
how
man?
doing? How's it going?
Good. What's happening, man?
Not much, man. I'm just hanging out. Got out of work a couple hours ago. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, you sound beautiful. Sound beautiful.
All
What's
right. Well,
going on, man?
my question for you is,
Yes.
do you think that there is like a religious connection to the phenomenon? Because I know Chris Bledsoe says that he has a bunch of sightings on Easter, and I personally had a really intense sighting with my entire family on Christmas Eve in 2015 over Long Island.
Well, first off, let's start off and compliment you on a good mustache and beard combination with some growing hair. So we'll give you some kudos for that. You know what? I have literally thought about this, whether there is a religious connotation. I think there is. What that is, I don't know. I'm not comfortable enough to go down that road just yet. I know enough people who have investigated and been close to the Bledsoes that they are very, very concerned about what this says, because when this new paradigm opens up, the big fear, Brian, is that they are going to have to figure out and change the entire aspect of everything in life, where we come from, where we went, and everything like that. Let's see here. Well, I mean, we're going to see it. Hold on. Captain Shirk is getting mad at me. You have done one news show out of the last 8 shows. You don't have enough short curlies to cover this. Boom! Captain Shirk dropping an elbow on me just like that. Holy cow, Captain Shirk. Oh.
On the top rope.
Oh, that was total top rope action. But yes, I do believe there is a universal connection there. I say this because I'm not a religious guy, but I'm a real God guy. I like the idea of God. Okay, and that's just me personally. I have my own relationship, so I know a lot of people may not like that, but I mean, it is what it is. So I think there is a connection there, and I've got a wasp in my office now. You dirty bastard! Oh, I'm going to kill him. Yes, there is something there. It's going to play out. It all depends how long it takes. We're not going to know whether or not what that connotation is until we finally start getting into the extraterrestrial side of this conversation.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Let's go Mets, and the Yankees suck.
You're terrible. You're a terrible human being ending it like that. Terrible human being. I know.
Sorry.
Brian, thank you, buddy.
Have a great night, man. Thank you.
All right, you take care. Let's go across the pond to Uncle Jim Morris and that beautiful Stetson hat. Look at that goatee, people. Look at that goatee. How you doing, boss?
Not bad, Dave. Not bad. It's I think it's dignified. I call it a dignified.
Looking beautiful.
Yeah.
Looking beautiful. How's your night going, or your early morning going?
Yeah, well, we're doing quite well. I've been checking some stuff on eBay, the old flying saucer reviews for sale to my collection. And, there's about 3 weeks ago, we had a Zoom meeting here with some of the old crew. And they keep on about extraterrestrials. And I said, well, why do they have to be extraterrestrial? Why should the human race be the only sentient life form we evolve on Earth? It's long history. And when cabin fever here on the island of Lewis, I took up these courses. It was Dr. Phil Curry. He was with the University of Alberta Paleontology. And when you look at what the course of human life has gone, and life itself. As you say, well, something else could have evolved in the sea if you go with Darwinian science. So it might go some way to explain USOs. And what Butch was saying about one that had been logged at 300 miles an hour. I worked with men that were in the Navy during the war, and their task force was to specifically hunt down U-boats. In 1944, they were coming across a big convoy when they detected something moving at 90 miles an hour, and they couldn't.
Yeah.
They locked onto it, and eventually it kept taking evasive maneuvers. And when they're going to home in on it and depth charge it or whatever they're going to do, it took off at over 150 knots.
Really?
So, yeah. So it's when you get into it, it could be this, it could be that, but you're never, as everybody's saying, they're never going to tell us anything. I remember Charles Bowen in the FSR 1973, the UFO magazine in the United States contacted him and says, we're going to have disclosure. That was 1973. So we know what happened there. Absolutely nothing. And what they did is you get some of the unknowns from Project Blue Book, but that was coerced out of the Freedom of Information Act, or else they would never released anything. So it's what they haven't released is everybody want to know. Given the latest guff, as Butch says, 144. They looked at one. It was a deflated balloon.
I know. You know what? I had such a laugh when I saw deflated balloon. I was like, really? We're gonna play the balloon card again? Where over in the UK are you, Jim?
I'm on the island of Lewis in the North Atlantic Ocean, about 50 miles out from the Scottish mainland.
You got some rough seas over there.
Yeah, it gets quite bad at times, and you rely heavily, obviously, on the ferries, the same as Vancouver Island, where Sandra and Jasmine are.
Yeah.
And when they start breaking down, because these things should have been replaced long ago. Everything is held up, and with the lockdown being removed, we're starting to get the influx of tourists again because we suffered heavily. We have a big music festival here, the Heb Celt Festival, and that usually brings in about £500,000, in money for the community. We haven't had that in nearly 2 years.
Right.
So everything is, the shops is closed and they're not going to open up again because the tourists are gone.
Yeah.
Now they're starting to come back. You wonder, exactly what was going on there behind all of this. There's a report there on the BBC that even though you've had 2 inoculations, you can still get this COVID. So what's the point of being inoculated? I'm
going to let you go with this, man. The good news over here is we're hearing that by this weekend, because Thursday is Canada Day, and we're hearing that by the end of the weekend, we may be mask-free here in British Columbia, which is what we're hearing. So let's hope, man, because I'm tired of this. Uncle Jim, thank you so much, my friend. You take care, okay?
You take care.
All right. Let's head over to New York. Anthony, who's shopping at Walmart right now.
Hi, Dave. How you doing?
Are you stockpiling on Metamucil just in case the aliens are coming?
No, not quite, Dave. I'm one of the late night kooks who actually works here at 7-Eleven in the middle of the night.
Nice.
3 o'clock in the morning where I am.
Could you show us the burritos, man? Where's the burrito section?
Oh, you're looking for the cooler over there, all the sandwiches and stuff.
Yeah. That's good stuff. What's your question, New York Anthony?
My question, Dave, I've been thinking about this topic for a long time, and I love hearing you and other experiencers talk about some of the alien activity and UFO activity, but I keep thinking about the long-term future. So I wanted to ask you what your thoughts are on whether or not we're going to integrate cultures or spend that kind of personal time together, if things are really going to move past the whole, showing off in the sky phase and actually commingling, down here on the surface.
You want to know my honest opinion? I think what they are well, I'm not going to give you a bullshit opinion, that's for sure. I think what they are worried about right now, and this is just my opinion on it, okay, is I think they are worried more for the people out there who cannot handle the decision. And they're waiting for that older crowd to die off in the next 15, 20 years. It's sad to say, but it's a reality. And I think that crowd is tied to the religious crowd. And I think that they are, they want to make sure that people don't go all wingnut over this. Okay. They got to try and make sure that they have all their peas in a pod, because they don't want somebody who is, say, sitting at home, lonely and depressed, who has a hit list, all of a sudden say, well, the aliens are here. I've got nothing to lose, so let's go take out a few people. They don't want that. We also don't know what the financial implications are going to be. What's going to happen on Wall Street? We know that the gun market is going to go through the roof the minute aliens come. But I'll tell you, I'm not scared of the aliens. I'm scared of what we're going to do as a people. I mean, if you look, as you've heard me say on other shows, if you look at the way that we have treated each other through COVID, do we have a customer? Hold on. We have a customer, people.
We do actually, Dave. I'm sorry.
All right. I'm going to let you go, New York Anthony.
Really glad to talk to you, Dave. You have a great night.
All right. You too, buddy. New York Anthony, working hard on the tills of 7-Eleven. All right. Let's go to the man on the devil's lettuce right now, Grandmaster. Look at that beard. Look at that beard. Are you going to talk to us, Grandmaster, or are you just going to sit there?
Oh, shit. Hey, dude, what's up, man?
Hold on.
What's up,
What's
bro?
happening, Grandmaster?
Just chilling,
What's happening?
man. Just counting some cash. Counting a bunch of Canadian cash right now, I was going to show you.
What are you doing with Canadian money?
I don't know. My dad was up in Montreal for the F1 race, so he had a bunch of Canadian money, and they just gave it to me. It's a bunch of 20s.
You might be... Oh, yeah. Hold on. What do we got there? Oh, you got a couple $100 there.
Oh, yeah.
You got a couple $100.
10s and 5s. Oh, yeah.
You might be able to buy a pack of gum at Anthony's 7-Eleven.
Can we smoke on the show or no?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
No, you got to save your hippie lettuce until after.
Okay. We'll
There's not enough to go around for the rest of the audience. Uh-huh. So what's your question there, Grandmaster? As you pound your beer, that was a good one.
What are your favorite incidents, like including UFOs and aliens and stuff?
All around or of my personal?
All around, yeah.
Okay.
Or personal, or yeah, both.
Are you wearing a shawl right now? What are you? You're not Grandmaster. You're grandmother. You have a laser beam. That is awesome. That is awesome. All right, my favorite stories. I love the Phoenix Lights.
Yeah, my mom just gave me a bunch of shawls, man. She gave me a shit ton of shawls in a bag, dude.
Why are you wearing a shawl?
Because my mom just gave me a bunch. She just moved out and she gave me a shit ton. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
all right. So my favorite would be the Phoenix Lights. I want to know what happened there. 65,000 people saw it. And, from famous people all the way to the governor himself, who made an ass out of himself coming out of that. And let's see, who else? Alien-wise, I got to say Samantha Mowat and myself in the forest. I want to see that again. That was trippy. I would love to see that again. And Shag Harbor. Yeah, in Nova Scotia. It was investigated by the U.S. Navy and the Canadian Navy. And the alleged sighting goes that when the UFO crashed in the ocean, they actually sent divers down into the ocean.
Wow.
and apparently they saw aliens fixing the craft on the outside, and there was a second craft there. So
Wow,
that
is so cool, dude. Wow.
Yeah, I think I would love to see a Discovery Channel special on that one. And there's a submarine crew out of Vancouver that I would love to get over to Shag Harbor to see if there's still any type of metamaterial that could be found at the crash site 50 years later. That's what I want to see.
Well, there's a crash site. It was a crash site. Okay.
Yeah, it was a crash site. Yeah.
How do you know it was a crash site?
Because literally hundreds of people saw it happen.
Wow.
And both the FAA and the Transportation Safety Board in Canada both accounted for every one of their airplanes and aircraft in the sky.
That is so cool.
Very cool.
I've never heard of that one.
It's a good one. Well, I'll try and get Dirty Filth to get somebody on about that. We need to talk about that.
All right.
Anyways, you go enjoy your bowl. You go enjoy your bowl, man.
Okay, thank you.
Than's, Grandmaster.
Good to talk to you, man.
We love you, man. Take care. All right, we got the Grandmaster out. Here comes Jennifer, everyone. I don't know which Jennifer this is. Hello, Jennifer.
Hey, Dave, it's Jennifer Hawkins.
Jennifer Hawkins, everybody. The lovely and talented Jennifer Hawkins. How are you?
Doing?
I am good, thank you.
Awesome. Can you hear me okay?
You sound great.
Good. Okay, I do have a question real quick.
Yes.
So, I even wrote it down. So, if ETs reveal themselves, do you think the rulers of the world would step down and relinquish authority over to the aliens, i.e. the ETs?
No. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. You ever heard of the Galactic Federation?
Yeah.
Okay, now, up until recently, I put zero stock in the Galactic Federation. I thought it was just a bunch of woo people who were acting really weird. That from R. Keith Andrews on down, acting really weird. I'm sorry.
A bunch of hooey. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's exactly it. I thought it was a bunch of hooey. And anyways, then this old guy, Haim Ashed, from literally worked the last 30 some years as the head security officer for the Israeli Space Agency.
Okay.
And he comes out right before Christmas and he drops this Galactic Federation tidbit all over the media over there. Now, the funny part about it was, like 4 days later, nobody has heard from Haim Ashed publicly since. Now, this is a guy who is literally in the know. He knows what's going on. And basically, he was saying that the Galactic Federation never doesn't think that humanity is ready for them yet. Therefore, we're not going to get to meet them for a while. Okay?
Right.
But they're calling the shots on the good guys, the bad guys. They're the ones sending the aliens down. You got to get permission. It's like a whole Men in Black movie scenario where you got to get like permission to come down here. And now some sneak in. All right. The bad ones sneak in. Maybe they kidnap a few people and, take some, do some human kidnapping and, we never see them again. Could happen. We just don't know. All right. Yeah. But I really think that they, and I've heard, I really think this Galactic Federation, there may be something to it. There really may be something to it. I'm not sure what as of yet. Okay. But I've heard someone else. I can't give out their name yet. Okay. I can't give out their name. I would love to give out the name, but this person is in the know. Let's just say that he's in the know. And I talk to this person at minimum once a week, and he has mentioned to me about the Galactic Federation too, and that there could be something to it.
Right.
And so now I'm kind of like, okay. And this Galactic Federation wants us to basically grow up.
Huh.
Okay. They want to invite us in to their group. It's kind of like they want us to be on the in crowd. Okay.
Mhm.
Right
Right.
now, we're the idiots who want to beat up and hurt everybody.
Right.
Okay. And they want us to come on in there and be on the in crowd and be a part of having a good run at being part of expanding our humanity and expanding our consciousness, and stop worrying about the little things in life like food and money and war and all the crap that goes along with the shitty part of life. They want us to stop that. They want us to grow up. I mean, we're children among adults here. You know what I'm saying? And
So do you,
go
sorry, go
ahead.
ahead.
No, please.
So do you think that the rulers of the world are in cahoots, or do they not know, or are they at battle with these?
No. I think it's human ego that gets in the way. We always have to have someone who has a bigger stick. We always have to have someone who has a larger ball that we don't want to play with others. And they're tired of us being childish. They're waiting for us to grow up. The other thing is that I've heard is that, they're waiting for us not to be as violent a species. They want us to calm the F down. Okay.
Huh.
And grow up a little bit so that way they'll invite. Now, I don't believe, okay, and I could be in the minority here. I don't think I am, but I don't believe that, the queen is a reptilian. I don't believe that there's reptilian overlords that are running countries. Okay. If somebody wants to believe that, go ahead. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
That's up to you to want to believe. All right. But I don't believe in that. I believe it's pure human greed and stupidity that we are in the position that we are in. And if this Galactic Federation is true, I think they're waiting for us to grow up before they allow us to play a little bit.
I'm gonna check that out. More Federation bit. I'm gonna have to check that out just a bit more because I've heard a little about it.
Watch out for it though, because there is a lot of lunatics who go into that pretty heavily. Okay. And really watch who your sources are, just like with anything. And I tell all our listeners, take what you hear, whether it's on this show or others or what you read online, take it with a grain of salt. You're smart enough and to discern whether or not it's real or it's BS. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We're allowed to see. Okay. We're allowed to see what's going on. So for you, no problem.
That's like the best answer ever. So
well,
good answer.
I do my best. And thank you for becoming a listener recently of our show.
Absolutely.
We appreciate you.
Absolutely. It's very cool.
All right. We'll send you back, Jennifer.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Does anybody else want to join? Because I've already edited the show for tomorrow. So I will put the link in here. And if you want to come on, you can come on. I'll wait for you. Whoever wants. You got one question. You got to ask one question. I will go until if we get people on, I will go till the bottom of the hour, because that's normally how long I'm here for anyways. All right. I will go till the bottom of the hour and go from there. If you want to join on up, the link is in the chat room. If you want to hop on in, you're allowed. And if you don't, we'll figure it out. going to sit here and wait and stare at you guys. No, that's too boring. That's too boring. Let's see here. I want to know if you sense alien Carl sometimes. Yes, but I also know that he's not close, if that makes any sense, Tammy. I've only, like, the 2 times, or the 1 time after when he showed up at my window, the next time was in 2018, and I knew he was there. I knew it. And I haven't had anything that intense since. Excuse me. Oh, here comes Nikki. We'll wait for a camera to hook up. While we're waiting, let's get over to Joey. Do you think aliens could be transhumans? Some of them. Some of them. I do believe it. Some of them. I think that's all part of the alien hybrid theory, man. It's a very good idea. All right. Nikki, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am good.
Awesome.
I am good.
So my one question.
My
one question is, what is your most memorable ET abduction that you're willing to say on air?
Oh, well, I just told the one last week where I got implanted in the back of my head.
I was hoping something different than that.
The last time, and that's when I went to bed. I knew I was dreaming. I knew I was having a dream about aliens. I was in a hotel. There was a UFO conference going in there. I saw Science Bob there. I saw Olaf Phillips. I know there was other beings there, or not beings, but other UFO people there that I recognized. But I really picked up on Science Bob and Olaf Phillips. And there were 3 grays. One of them was running around alone. There were 2 of them running around together. And it felt like they were chasing us. Oh, excuse me. Long story short, I woke up the next morning, felt like I hadn't slept a wink, like I had been awake all night long. I don't know whether this was a lucid dream or true, but what really screwed me up was I got ready for work. I called Science Bob up that morning, and I said, Bob, how did you sleep last night? And he said, I was tossing and turning. And then he said, my wife got up because she thought she heard walking in the hallways. And she went and checked it out. And then later on in the day, Bob checked his Fitbit. And his Fitbit had him awake for 90 minutes.
Wow.
And he has no recollection of being awake.
Yeah. You got your proof.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That is always very important to have validation over those.
Exactly. Thank you, Nikki.
Welcome.
Have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Bye. Let's go to Australia. Steam Train Mark, how's tomorrow looking?
Hey, Dave, I can confirm that you are alive tomorrow.
Yes. Yes.
And unfortunately, yes, and no worries anytime. But unfortunately, we're about to go into a 3-day lockdown here because of the Delta variant of the COVID is starting to play a bit of havoc. And our powers that be have decided to go down to 3 days and see if we can knock it on the head.
Oh, 3 days isn't that bad.
No.
3 days.
No. Oh, yeah. But the panic buying's already starting. You know, the toilet paper's already gone. It's a worldwide thing. So, you know, there you go. But
you guys started that. You guys started that the first time around, and it carried over.
Yeah. Look, we got to be proud of something. But anyway, my one question is, with the report out now, the unofficial report or the preliminary report, do you think the media will follow this up in the White House press room, or do you think they'll just laugh it off like they did last time?
No, they're trying, and this report now has a government stamp on it, so they are going to be taking it seriously. Whether or not Joe Biden actually talks about it, that remains to be seen. All right, but we know other officials are talking about it. We know that everybody, if they gave us this, we know every major player in the United States has been read into this program. We know that, including the president.
And that includes us, because that includes Australia, because Luis Elizondo said we're part of the Five Eyes program.
Yeah, the Five Eyes are Canada, the United States. Who's that?
That's my wife. That's my wife.
Oh, hey!
Mrs. Steam Train Mark, you're talking to Dave in Canada.
Oh, hi, Dave.
And everyone else on YouTube.
Oh, hi, everybody on YouTube.
Hey, how are you? That was awesome. That was awesome. Yeah, the Five Eyes are Great Britain, France, Australia, Canada, and the United States. All right. And when one has a big sighting, the other ones find out about it. And they're all reported on it. So everybody has been debriefed. I'm not sure if the other prime ministers or presidents have been debriefed yet, on it. I do know that Justin Trudeau has most likely been read in on it, where I'm about 99% sure. But he's never talked about it up here in Canada. Now, I don't know about your prime. You have a prime minister too, right?
Yeah, Scott
you're
Morrison.
part of the because you're part of the Commonwealth.
Yeah, and I must admit, I'm not a big watcher of the news, and the dominant thing that obviously is COVID. And if it is mentioned, I don't think anyone does mention it. But Investigator reporter here in Australia, Ross Coulthard, done a great interview not so long ago with Lou and David Marler. It had actually aired on the 7 network. It's on YouTube, and it was actually it went for an hour, not just 12 minutes. It was a 60-minute style interview, and it was the same sort of thing. Talk to Lou and so on. But, even Sean Cahill was interviewed by Ross Coulthard. And there was also a case here in Australia that he highlighted, which I wasn't aware of, and I'm sure there's others too.
I will give you a hint before I let you go, and all of our audience. People need to start paying attention more to what Sean Cahill says.
Yep.
That's all I'm going to say right now. I know some things. And all I'm going to say to our audience is really start paying attention to Sean Cahill.
He's certainly a wise man, that's for sure.
Very fantastic beard and hair combination too.
Unfortunately, there's no way I can match him or you, because I just can't grow one, so I just don't even try.
Hey, how's the kangaroos before we let you go? Because you sent me those photos.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, that area is starting to get developed for housing. So I haven't seen the kangaroos there lately, but they're still in the area. That area is semi-rural, so they're still around. They haven't gone completely.
Nice.
But unfortunately, this area where I am, to give you a rough idea, I'm in the state of Queensland. I'm about a half an hour south of Australia Zoo. That puts you in the ballpark of the area I'm in. And it's a very fast developing area. I work for an earth moving company, and we're not the only ones, pushing dirt to make houses here. Well, shoeboxes now, really.
Right.
Yeah, so,
I hear you,
so,
my friend.
Unfortunately, what used to be farmland is disappearing into housing. It's sad to see.
That's like my old town, man. My old town's like that too. Steam train, Mark. Next time we come on, you gotta show us your steam trains.
All right, no worries, Dave. I'll give you a quick look right now. Here it. Oh, sorry. There it is in the background.
Okay.
There's the mighty steamroller that I'm working on at home here. Yep.
Very
All right,
nice.
guys. Thank you very much. Take care, Dave. Talk to you later.
Take care, Aussie Mark. Bye-bye. Let's stick to Australia here. Aussie, sister. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, Dave?
Good.
You're my favorite. You're my hero.
Oh, stop.
I
We're all
know.
part of the Commonwealth. We're allowed.
We are. Hey, I've got a question.
Yes.
It's about hybrid children. Do you believe in hybrid children yourself? What are your thoughts?
Yes, I do.
And why?
During one of my abductions, I saw one.
Ooh.
So I got really mad at this little alien dude after he knocked me out. And I sat up and I told him everything that I was going to do for him in revenge, because as a former hockey tough guy, I don't get mad, I get even. And what really screwed me up was he was exiting stage right. And when I saw something out of the corner of my eye on stage left, and there was a little baby toddler that was just learning how to walk that was following him, and it was wearing I knew it was a boy, and its diaper, I will never get the diaper out of my head, because its diaper was luminescent green with red luminescent and black veins running through the diaper.
Oh, that's a bit odd.
It was very, very trippy. And I stopped yelling at him, and the baby would not stop following him. I was trying to call the little baby over, and the baby wouldn't come.
So did the baby look human-like?
100%.
100%. Isn't that
100%.
interesting? Because I'm just thinking if it's the ETs that are looking after them, but they've got human DNA, they've got to have oxygen and food and schooling and care and all of those kind of things, love and nurture. And I just wonder how that all works. It's very on my mind.
It was weird. It was absolutely weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your answer.
No problem, Aussie, sister. We're so glad to have you as a listener.
Oh, every day we're obsessed.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. My brother and Aussie Steve, we've got a little text group going, so we chat all day about it.
Good. Spread the love down there.
We will. Thanks so much.
All right. Take care.
See ya.
Bye. All right. Let's go to Bombshell Bomber here. Bombshell.
Hi,
where are
Dave.
you? Hi, Bombshell Bomber.
Hi, can you hear me?
No. Can you hear me?
No, I can't hear you either.
Okay, good.
That's great. This will be really great for the show. So my one question is, when I come camping in your backyard, am I going to be able to have a fire? Because with all the forest fires going on there, is it going to be safe?
Well, considering that there's a forest fire somewhere in the area, because I could smell it, I would suggest probably waiting. This may not be a good year.
Okay.
To go camping at SOR headquarters.
Okay. Just
right?
just for safety reasons, friends with Smokey the Bear, got to keep cool with him. So.
And you know what, though? The good part about this heat, the mosquitoes haven't been that bad.
Yeah, the mosquitoes are weird. Did you notice the last couple of years the mosquitoes are different?
They were horrible the last 2 years. Horrible up here.
Yeah.
Like, it was to the point where the mosquitoes outside my door were holding picket signs that read, "Come on, fat boy, bring us your blood."
I know that when I would go in the woods with just my natural bug spray, they would laugh in my face.
Yeah.
And geez, I finally decided, you know what, I can't do this without DEET. So I went full 30% DEET, and I was not gonna go in the woods without it. So the couple times that I've forgotten it, um, they're like, oh, you again. um, but now Muskol has changed their ingredients, so it's like 23% or something, and they're coming up to me going, you know, any minute now you're gonna sweat this off, and we're waiting, we're ready for you.
Oh
They're not.
yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't work for them, the 23%. We need 30%.
No.
But these mosquitoes, like the ones that are in here where I am, they're just they're crazy. I never seen mosquitoes like this before.
Oh,
They're
you
brutal.
go into the forest here. It's 100 and some degrees right now out. But if you were to go into the forest, you literally would have to be fully dressed because I mean they have a major air force that is patrolling the forests here.
Oh yeah,
Major.
they're angry and they mean business.
Oh yeah.
They're out
Yeah.
for blood, literally.
Dirty bastards.
Dirty
Can't stand them.
motherfuckers.
You got that right. You got that right.
Okay, well, thanks for answering my question, Dave. I'll keep that in mind for when I come camp in your backyard.
Oh, thank you. And thank you to Chad Smith for the great super chat there. Really do appreciate that, Chad Smith. And anytime, Bombshell Bomber. What are you coming? Are you coming to BC soon?
No, I have no.
Oh, so you have no plans. You're just trying to hook up a place to stay before you actually make the.
Just making sure because it's one of my goal places to camp is in northern BC.
Yeah.
And so I'm just kind of like, hey, Dave's out there. You know, that would be a great place to just stop over and then keep going, you know?
Oh yeah, why not? I got a big backyard.
I figured you would. I would.
I got a big backyard.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify with who was it? It was Sovereign that said about the DEET. I'm not pro chemicals. I'm completely, you know, pro natural stuff. But the mosquitoes here, they don't. They're not affected by the natural stuff at all. You know, like I had my lavender bottle and I was like dripping it on the mosquito, and I should say, because the ones that bite are female. She was laughing in my face while she was pinned into my arm. That natural stuff doesn't do anything with our mosquitoes.
No, they will feed off of you. They will feed off of you.
Yeah, and they'll come back for seconds and thirds, I think. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, well,
all right.
Come in. Take care, Dave. I love you, and thank you for having us all here. It's been a great job.
We love you too, Bombshell Bomber.
Okay, I don't know how to get out of here, though.
I'll kick you out. Here you go. You're gone. Bye. Bombshell Bomber, everyone. Bombshell Bomber. Okay, we have a few more minutes here. A few more minutes. I'm going to put the link out one more time. And if you want to join me, you can. If not, well, then it sucks to be you. I'm teasing. I'm teasing on that end. Shut that down. All right. So where are we here? As we wait. Any questions while we are waiting for anybody to appear? Thurston. She can run freely with Dave's puppies. Help him maul the deer. My dogs would love to. Hello, applesauce. Ground control to SJ. Click that link right away. Let's see here. All right. Why did my fan stop? Because I shut my computer off. That's why. Son of a wife. All right. Well, we'll just put that over there for tomorrow. All right. When will David Paulides be coming back? I don't know if he is doing any interviews ever since his son passed away. Does Dave have a favorite dinosaur? I'm a Tyrannosaurus Rex guy. Why? Because I got short arms. Got these short little fucking penguin arms here. So, just makes sense. Will there be SOR guitar picks? There may be in the future. There may be. I've actually thought about that. Let's see here. Anything else? Look, you can hear an airplane. Maybe that's a semi-truck. They sound the same. They sound the same. Mm-hmm. All right. Pew, pew, pew. I am starting to sweat here. You can see the sheen. Look at that sweat there. Holy cow. I need a towel in here. And on t-shirt decals. Yes, when the new website comes out, Nikki, we'll have all new swag at the store. A lot of the old stuff, but we'll have some new stuff too. Including El Ovni Volador shirts. El Ovni Volador. We'll have stickers and everything like that. So don't you worry. We'll have them. Well, there's one bottle down. There should be. We got lots of stuff you can order. Lots of stuff. All right, everyone. We're going to call it the night here because I got to go wipe the waterfall that's happening on my forehead right now and sweat. But thank you to all of our people who joined us on the live chat. I apologize to Captain Shirky Poo. She did an amazing job of the news. Shirky Poo, I know you're still listening. Okay, I'll play I'll play those stories for tomorrow because tomorrow we're joining up with Vancouver and the shift after work or after we do the show. Pardon me. Timothy Renner is our guest tomorrow night. If you haven't heard Timothy, in my opinion, he's one of the best researchers out there. So we're glad to have him. And it's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun tomorrow night. So tell your friends, have some fun. We'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you to all the veterans who are listening to this show. Thank you to Butch Witkowski. Thank you to all of our regulars for playing along. And we really do appreciate it. Thank you, guys. We love you, each and every one of you. You are special to us. So you take care. We'll see you all tomorrow night.